ставши на коліно, своє полкове знамено, дивлюсь на нього я востаннє, у нез'ясованій журбі, всю кров мою, всі скитання, воно вібрало у собі, всю кров
Прийшли окупанти до нас в Україну, форма новенька, воєнні машини та трохи поплавився їх інвентар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Російські танкісти сховались в кущі, щоб лаптем посьорбати довбані щі, та трохи у чах перегрівся навар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Приперли зі сходу до нас барани для восстановлення
великої страни.
Найкращий пастух баранячих отар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Їх доводи всяке озброєння різне, потужні ракети, машини залізні, у нас на всі доводи є коментар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Вони захопити хотіли нас зразу, а ми зачаїли на орків образу з російських бандитів, робить примар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Російська поліція справи заводить, там пихцю рашистів ніяк не знаходить, хто винен, що в нашому полі глухар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Веде пропаганду кремлівський урод, слова пропаганди ковтає народ, тепер нове слово знає цар.
Байрактар.
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 Yes.
The Leaf Spring Army sends its regards.
О, бля! Игорь!
Hello everyone, I'm the Enforcer, and I'm accompanied by Enforcer Matt.
And good evening, folks. It's Enforcer Matt, and welcome back to day 436 of the news, and it's good to see you all once again.
And of course, we're going to be covering the past 24 hours of the news of the war in Ukraine, and we've got massive news tonight. Of course, y'all can see in the thumbnail and the title, it is about the Wagner unit, and it appears that the Wagner unit is about to go down in the pages of history as a unit that will never exist as far as the war in Ukraine is concerned beyond this point, and may have gone into extinction, or maybe going into extinction within this coming week. But before we get into that big news for the night, we of course have news from across the entire world, not just Ukraine, to cover that pertains to the war, and a lot of it is pretty big news. And so starting off right outside of Moscow, we saw that Shoigu is showing off Russia's newest and best tanks, the T-90 Provi, otherwise known as the T-90M. The Russians have countless numbers of these. You can see, as far as the eye can see, T-90Ms. Maybe about 5 of them, actually, but they didn't want to show anything off-camera beyond that. You see Shoigu looking at them, and we can see a whole lot more of them in the background, but interestingly enough, on closer examination, they're all T-62s. And they're not really giving you a quick look at them, or any, well, they're not giving you a long look at them. They're giving you these really quick looks at them because they don't really want you to know that they are T-62s. They want you to think that they're like the T-90s on the other side. And I'd have to say that if anyone has eaten a T-62 in this video, it is this man right here, who appears to have eaten an entire T-62M whole. And we can see them once again trying to show off the T-90Ms and make the illusion that the entire supply yard is made up of these. Well, that's the end of the clip, but once again we can see that the Russians are getting that propaganda machine churning and trying to make it seem like they're better off than they are. The fact of the matter is, this is probably all the T-90Ms left within Russia, and they've all been brought to this one spot for the propaganda film. We're now going to be moving on from Moscow and towards Bryansk, where we saw that the frontline situation and supply situation behind the lines is certainly not improving, as another train had a bomb explode below it overnight and forced it to derail in the Bryansk area. We can see that recovery crews have made it out there in the nighttime. We can see the explosion was so strong that it lifted entire rail cars off of their bogies and off the railroad tracks. See them once again taking a good look at the railroad cars and everything else around, and it appears to not be in great shape.
Somebody, wait a minute, somebody's calling. Hello? Oh, it's Norfolk Southern. They want the train back.
CSX too. CSX, and they're going, hey, wait a minute, we're known for doing this crap. But anyways, with that, we're going to be moving on from Bryansk, where we see the partisans once again hard at work, and down, well, actually, that's a part of later days news. We'll save that little bit in Grozny for later. But if you want to see what it is, make sure to stick around. Or if you're a little too impatient, you can always click on the link in the description below for the day 436 map and go ahead and watch that little clip for yourself. But we will be showing that later on tonight as a part of the Bakhmut news segment. We're now going to be moving into Germany really quickly and to a training ground in the area of Klitz, where we saw that the Ukrainians have been trained on the Leopard 1A5, or they are currently receiving training. The Leopard 1A5 is one of the newest and most modern versions of the Leopard main battle tank. These actually have a turret that are fairly interesting because, from what I remember, Leopard 1A5s don't really have turrets like these, at least this shape. I remember that Leopard 1A5s, at least the ones I remember seeing in pictures, had some kind of an armor skirt around the outside of the turret, like this one right here. But I never saw a lot of Leopard 1A5s with a turret designed like this. It's a far more angular turret, and it doesn't appear to have any additional armor, it's just a different turret shape or design. And I just don't remember a lot of them looking like that, at least from when I was growing up and always looking at tanks. I never really remembered a lot of them to look like this, but apparently almost all of the Leopard 1A5s that will be provided to Ukraine have this specific turret design on it, which honestly I think looks more modern and also a lot more striking. And then we could see them showing them how the track layout works on the Leopard, amongst various other things. They even spray painted this little circle on the ground to probably show them how far the barrel sticks out in every single direction from the Leopard tank. We can also see a CH-53 Stallion back there in the background, which is pretty cool. Of course, a CH-53 from the German army, and then we can see multiple other Leopard 2A5s further down the way, and a whole bunch of press taking pictures of this Leopard 1A5. Hopefully this thing can eventually make it to the battlefield and prove its worth, because from what we understand, a Leopard 1A5 is pretty advanced as far as the battlefield is concerned in Ukraine right now, and could probably stand its own against T-72s and T-62Ms of older variants. With that, we're going to be moving on from that clip of news inside of Germany and on back into Ukraine and directly outside of Kyiv, where we got massive news. Now make sure to wake up the whole family. Make sure to cause a racket. And before we...
Billy, Joe, Carl, Bob, Danny, and Frank.
Yes, get the whole family here. They're already here, maybe. But get the whole family here if they're not. We're about to be going over news that's amazing. Because many of y'all may know that the Russians and the Chinese supposedly have a weapon that can't be shot down and can't be intercepted by any weapon in the world. These are called hypersonic missiles. And the Russian version of a hypersonic is the Kinzhal hypersonic missile, which we can see a picture of right here. That is it underslung on the bottom of a MiG-31, I believe it's a K, which is a specially designed variant that carries these Kinzhal hypersonic missiles. Up until this day, and remember, up until this day, there was nothing in the world that could even attempt to shoot down these Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, as far as we understood, they're just too fast to actually be intercepted and shot down. It appears today, at least from picture evidence right now, that has been proven to be completely untrue. The Kinzhal myth has died today, as a Kinzhal was shot down on its way towards Kyiv by none other than a Patriot air defense missile system, with pictures of part of the destroyed Kinzhal right here.
Now, Enforcer, I hate to rain on the parade, but Ukraine has actually denied today that they shot it down, and they said it was actually not a Kinzhal missile.
Really?
Yes.
Dang it! Man, because the last time I checked, which was about, I think, 3 hours ago on this one, it was still the standing statement that it was possible that they had shot down a Kinzhal missile. But Matthews, of course, rained on the parade and said it didn't happen. So, it didn't happen. Anyways, we're going to be moving on from that. Honestly, I wouldn't know what that is anymore. Considering if it isn't a Kinzhal, what would that be?
I don't know, but it's kind of odd that Ukraine would come out and like blatantly deny it. It seems like they might have just run with it, just for morale purposes.
Well, yeah, but then again, they also did that about the Ghost of Kyiv. When the Ghost of Kyiv, supposedly came around, they immediately shot down the claim that there was a Ghost of Kyiv and said no such pilot existed. And then everyone acted like they didn't say that and then blamed them later when they didn't hear the statement that was made on like the third day of the war that the Ghost of Kyiv didn't exist. But unfortunately, the Kinzhal was not shot down. With that, we're going to be moving on from that little bit of news outside of Kyiv, which really isn't news, so we'll actually be getting rid of that just to make sure we avoid any kind of future misinformation on that. And we're now going to be moving on into our location unknown, starting off with our first clip where we saw that a drone operator had a little bit of fun. So we can see the drone operator flying around, we can see the Russian running through the trench right there, and this guy is using his drone to pretty much buzz the guy's head. So he's bringing it in for a second run. We can see the Russian once again running down there. We can see him flying it over the Russian a second time. We can now see the Russian still running down the trench. We can see him flying the drone over at a little bit of a higher altitude. And now sending it in a nosedive straight down for the Russian soldier. And it appears that it was dead on the mark. Oh, okay.
Oh, nice little outro. What does that say?
I don't know. Well, it says Evbate Ruski Stihot. I think. I don't know. I don't know what that means. If anyone can tell us what this means, I would love to know. Because this is the weirdest outro I've ever seen to anyone getting hit by an FPV drone. It's like a Reading Rainbow outro, but for Russians. Anyways, with that, we're going to be moving on from this clip. Very interesting to see. And on into our next one where we saw that Ukrainian sapper, apparently from what we assume, found explosives inside of children's toys in an unknown location. We also don't know when this video was filmed, so it remained in a location unknown. Although this is the first time we saw the clip.
Цього зайчика, бачите? Ніби красивий, замурзаний зайчик. Все не так просто. Дуже погано видно. Але якщо
You
придивитися,
see them
то можна
showing a teddy
побачити,
bear.
що трошки так нахилений. І тут розірваний.
And looking at the back of the teddy bear, where it's been cut open,
Дивитися, то у
you
нас
see him moving some of the fabric, and we can see that there's some kind of a explosive, looks like a grenade.
і ось ще пішла ниточка. Дуже така цікава. От де вона? Піде цю цегу.
And that's the end of the clip, but as you can see right there, the Russians are trying to pack bombs into kids' toys. Nothing new, really. We have seen stuff like this often before, but it is always shocking to see it once again. And so with that, we're going to be moving on from that little clip, of course, very bizarre to see, and we're going to be seeing a captured Russian soldier telling his friends to go on home. This isn't anything shocking either, but I thought I would show you the clip, considering that it's brand new. I am Private Flammer Nikita Blank, born in 1999, living in the Zabaysk region of Pokatek something. I was mobilized on March 2nd, 2023. I served in the Storm unit. My unit was constantly told by panic that Ukrainian armed forces were preparing for counteroffensive.
Вооруженных сил Украины готовится контрнаступление. Сам лично я это
I
узнал
learned this from the commander, who was in a drunken state, shocked by the position.
в пьяном состоянии, шел ко мне на позиции. Также от него я узнал о том, что
From him, I learned that a lot of foreign mercenaries were noticed by the Ukrainian forces.
очень много было замечено иностранных наемников. А также он мне сказал, что
He also told me that Ukraine has a lot of advanced equipment,
передовой техники.
and we have very poor equipment. Almost 90% of the equipment is destroyed.
Техника в очень хреновом состоянии. Практически в 90% техники уничтожены.
The remaining equipment is not in repairable condition.
Не в ремонтно-пригодном состоянии.
I want to add to you guys, don't go here.
Не надо сюда ехать. Ну и нафиг. Сидите дома.
Stay at home, there's nothing to do here.
Вообще нечего делать. Поверьте,
Believe me, stay at home and suffer in peace.
сидите дома. Наслаждайтесь своей жизнью.
Dang, okay.
Damn.
With your family and friends, not here, but in Ukraine.
Но не здесь, не на Украине.
They must have wonderful families.
Dang, man, he must love his in-laws. Go home and suffer with the family. But with that, that's the end of the clip, and we can see that this Russian prisoner is no longer enthused in the goings-on of the war. With that, we're moving on into our next clip, where we also saw that the Ukrainians captured a very small tank today, an incredibly small tank, that was actually stuck inside of their trench works. And so, here's a video of this brand new Russian light tank that has been found and captured by Ukrainian forces.
Дивіться, що ми.
When you see the Ukrainian getting into the trench,
Опа.
when you see him pulling out the small armored tank, it appears to be a brand new kind of organic Russian scouting tank used to observe Ukrainian positions and report them back to Russian forces. This is terrifying, and I think the Russians have leaped ahead of us by several decades in advanced weapons technology, considering that they are able to produce organic armored vehicles to be able to scout and also find Ukrainian positions. I think this is the end of the war. This is very scary, Matthew. I'm terrified. And so with that, we're going to be moving...
It's over for the Russians, yeah.
Man, it's over. It's over for everyone. With that, we're moving on to our last clip of Location Unknown News, where we saw the Russian casualty report for the day. And...
We got
Bobcats
three
kids.
today.
3 of them, and they're quite high numbers. Let's see here. And we saw Monturn playing an RC.
Hey, an RC Bobcat? They have those?
That's right.
No
that's right.
way.
They have RC Bobcat, bleed. We also see
I need one.
We also see that Edward said there's always time to count. Nice. I like to see it. We can also see a burning Bobcat and a Bobcat holding a rodent. Rodent of Anger hopefully is not here tonight. I hope he doesn't have to see that. We can see a burning Bobcat near an industrial warehouse. More Bobcats, pink Bobcat. well, you better watch out what she's doing in Dubai. And that seems to be it, actually, for all the comments on the Kyiv Independent today. But 3 Bobcat skid steers, once again, were destroyed. And a great number to see, and hopefully we continue to see numbers like this as the war continues to go on. Not only that, but we saw that 620 Russian soldiers were taken out over about the past 24 hours. A pretty significant number, to say the least. It's getting on up towards a little bit higher than the normal war's average, but it's still not as high as the January and February months, where they were losing about 800 to 1,000 a day. We also saw that 8 armored personnel carriers ended up biting the dust as well. And we're always happy to see armored personnel carriers biting the dust, and that's getting on up there towards the average. We also saw that 30 supply trucks, an entire convoy needed to supply a battalion tactical group from empty, has been completely wiped out today, of course, causing a large amount of problems for Russia's supply lines. We also saw that 3 main battle tanks were destroyed, 16 artillery pieces were destroyed, and that is quite nice to see. At least according to someone today, that would be about 2.5 artillery batteries, but we measure an artillery battery as 4 artillery pieces, not 6. So this would be somewhere around the area of 4 artillery batteries instead of about 2.75. We also saw that 17 drones were also destroyed, 3 MLRSs were wiped out, and of course the Bobcat skid steers. The special equipment vehicles are more so just great to see the losses racking up in, but it's more important to see the supply trucks being lost, because of course those make sure that the Russian forces are able to keep themselves running, and without supply vehicles it becomes much more difficult for the Russians to keep the war effort going. And of course, frontline losses in troops, armored personnel carriers, tanks, artillery, and MLRSs are also very important, because that means the Russian ground forces that are continuously trying to conduct the counteroffensives that have nearly petered off at this point won't really be able to do that successfully. And so with that, it's of course amazing to see that these numbers are here today in such a high number in every category. And with that, we're now going to be moving on from the location unknowns and on into the frontline news itself, and getting on towards the massive news of the day about the Wagner unit. Now, we have to, of course, cover our polls. We've been running a few polls at this point, and they are pretty good. And so with that, what do we got, Matthew?
All right, and we have 3 to address, and the very first one says, Prighozin says he is withdrawing Wagner forces from Bakhmut in 5 days because of a lack of ammo, and what are your thoughts? 32% said, I believe it, it's not a bluff. 10% said unsure. 31% said, it sounds kind of questionable. And 28% said, I don't believe it. And I'm going to go with the 32%. I actually believe him on this one, because I don't see how it could benefit Russia whatsoever to say that they are going to withdraw their troops from Wagner, because of course Russia is going to replace those troops with someone else, either their own, or they're going to try to bring in the Chechens, like Ramzan Kadyrov has suggested he could do. So it's really not going to benefit Russia in any way by calling this bluff. So I think he really means it, and I think we're seeing the beginning of something much larger happening here. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would have to say that Prighozin is not lying about this at all. I've heard a lot of people saying, I don't trust him, it would be a trap or something similar, and there's really nothing that will benefit Prighozin in any means. This statement isn't going to make the Ukrainian army go, oh, let's just sit around and mull around on the lines in the area where the Wagner is, and the Wagner launches an assault. That's not how an army works. They're going to continue to remain on alert, because the idea is that the Wagner will be replaced almost at the same speed they're leaving by new units that will continue on the battle. So we know that there is no reason that would benefit Russian forces in any meaningful way. So there's no reason to lie and deceive about that. Also, the main thing that has always been the going precedent about not trusting the Russians is whenever they make things sound too good. Like when airfield blows up and you hear missiles flying in, and then they go, oh yes, we were having a fireworks show and someone accidentally smoked near a ammo storage at the same time, and so that's why the whooshing sound was heard, and that's also why the airfield blew up. That's why we don't believe the Russians, is because they usually lie to make things sound like things are going far better for them than they should be. This kind of stuff, making themselves look terrible, is something they don't want to lie about, because that doesn't benefit them. It doesn't benefit the Ukrainians in being deceived, because they're not going to be deceived by this. It doesn't benefit a single person in the entire war. And so I would have to say that, in my personal opinion, He's not lying about this at all. We've known about this for months as well. This isn't anything that's been hidden. The British Ministry of Defense has been reporting that the Wagner unit has not been getting any ammo. We've been hearing for months that Prighozin has been complaining that the Wagner is not getting enough ammo and is continuing to reduce as the war kept going. We even heard that he had to bribe quartermasters in the Donetsk area of the front lines to move ammunition from those frontline forces and up towards Bakhmut to get any ammunition for that matter. So we know that this is not any kind of lie whatsoever by Prighozin, based off of the months of information and I guess you could say reports that we've been getting. They are plumb out of ammunition, and they've been getting absolutely slaughtered by the Ukrainians due to their lack of an ability to actually properly fight. And so it appears that Prighozin is going to actually withdraw them for that reason. So I would have to say he's not lying at all, and the situation has become incredibly bad for the Russians to the point that one of their biggest guys that they were supporting at the beginning of the war is now starting to speak directly against the government and talk about how poorly they've been treating his unit. And so with that, I hope that does address that poll fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
And the next poll says the Russian Defense Minister Shoigu allegedly ordered all necessary ammo be given to Prigozhin immediately. And what are your thoughts? 43% said that's not actually going to happen. 12% said unsure. 36% said maybe Russia caved into the pressure. And 8% said they will send the ammo right away. And as the poll suggested, this is allegedly. Obviously, can't confirm it for a fact, but that is the report. I would say that if they have actually ordered it, the ammo will probably never reach Prigozhin and his Wagner forces, because that would go against Putin's wishes. He's trying to starve Wagner of all their ammo, so that way they'll eventually get crushed in Bakhmut, and they won't be a threat to his power. And giving ammo would go contrary to that. So I don't think it's actually going to happen, and it's quite interesting how heated Prigozhin has gotten with his rhetoric. In the latest video he's put out, it was a pretty heartfelt talk from a very dirty war couch, saying how he really despised Shoigu and also Gerasimov as well for basically screwing him over and doing this to him. So it's very interesting to watch, I have to admit. Kind of catching me a little off guard about how deep Prigozhin is going on this one. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would have to say that it is unbelievable to see how he pretty much just cussed out Shoigu directly the other day. And I would have to also agree that I don't think they're going to see the ammunition from Shoigu. The fact is that the Russians are trying to save face, but remember the story I told y'all last night about the Russian dog food scandal, where a Russian quartermaster and an entire base's command was in on the scheme of taking actual beef pate and selling it on the black market, and then replacing that with dog food and feeding that to the soldiers because they can skim a little bit off the top doing that. That is the Russian army. That's how the entire thing's run. And so we know that while on the surface they're going to look like they're fixing the problem, this problem is probably not going to be fixed. And it's probably too little too late, in all honesty, even if it is. The Wagner unit has been completely decimated. And from what we understand, there's only a few thousand Wagner soldiers left, when originally they had over tens of thousands of soldiers at the start of the war, including the addition of prisoner volunteers, or at least voluntold. So I would say that I don't think they're going to be getting that additional ammo, and that is just some kind of a farce or an attempt to save face by the Russian government to make it not look as bad as it really is, although the situation will not be improving in the background. And so with that, I hope that does address that poll fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
And our next poll says, after witnessing Prigozhin's escalatory rhetoric, is this the beginning stage of a Russian coup? 37% said yes, a coup is brewing. 16% said unsure. 31% said I think it's unlikely. And 16% said no, a coup will not happen. And I am pretty solidly in the 37%. I think we are witnessing the beginnings of a coup. Prigozhin has been preparing himself for this moment for very long months. As I started my way through that. But I think Prighozin is going to try to seize power at some point, and I think this is the turning point when he's actually going to put that into motion. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would have to be honest, as the war keeps on going, it looks like he may be trying to line himself for an attempt at creating a coup, because it is very weird that he is continuously starting to stand up the Russian government in its entirety and face them down, and it does look like he is trying to prepare for some kind of a power move or power play. Even if it isn't successful at this point, I think he may try, just because he really has nothing left to lose, and he's been posturing himself in that position for a while. So I think a coup may be brewing, and we may be watching the fun stuff go down here not too long in the future. So with that, I hope that does address that poll fairly well. As as well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and that was our last poll for now, so we are moving on to our super chat questions. And up first, we have a $400 donation,
Holy
a massive
moly.
donation from Spencer. And welcome back, Spencer, and thank you very much for that extremely generous support. And he says, let's kick things off.
Holy, well, that's one way to kick things off. And I thank you so much for the support, Spencer. That is massive, and we are completely floored of your support. And so I thank you so much once again for helping this channel to keep on running and kicking things off tonight, because that support helps us to keep this channel rolling. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one. But once again, thank you so much, because that is absolutely unbelievable. And also, what a way to come back and welcome back to the stream. We haven't seen you in a while, and we've actually seen a couple of people return over the past few days, pretty much. Well, actually, just today. We actually saw that Muskrat82, which is also an Old Guard member, returned in the live chat tonight as well. So a lot of people are returning tonight, and that is really cool to see. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, one second, I want to see what this drama is. What was going on? Oh, you got a bot that was saying they're going, yeah, sure, yeah, right. But with that, I thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And thank you so much once again, Spencer, for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And the bot would have you believe that the Russian government is completely cohesive, no issues whatsoever, and they're all good friends, right? But we know that's not the case.
Matthew, they get together and they jump through the fields of lilacs and lilies in the afternoon. There is no way the Russian government could collapse, ever. No way.
Oh, yeah, it can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, it just can't happen, Blad. It can't happen. We have such a hippie government. But with that, we're going to be moving on to the next one.
All right, and our next one is also from Spencer, and he puts in a $100 donation. And thank you very much, Spencer. That is also another very generous support, and we do appreciate it very much. He says, where's the LSA Pride at?
And you know, that's a good question. Where is the LSA Pride at? Is it high? Is it low? Is it good? Is it not good? Who knows? But I have to say, Spencer, where is the LSA Pride at? Do we see it in the live chat? I think we might see it in the live chat, just a little. I see a little LSA here. But do we have a lot of LSA? I wonder. I'm going to put an LSA in the chat just to start off a little bit of LSA. So we're going to put that right there. And let's see if the chat goes wild. I wonder if they're going to all put in LSA. There we go. Hey, we're getting LSAs. And thank you so much once again for the support, Spencer. And of course, being a huge member of the Lee Spring Army, of course, helping to send those fundraisers over the moon, back when you were in here just absolutely blowing away fundraisers. And I have to thank you so much once again for the support, Spencer. And once again, helping this channel keep on running, because the support you've thrown in tonight is huge. It's massive, and we are greatly appreciative of your support and how much you appreciate this channel wanting to keep running. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope we addressed that fairly well. And with that, we are moving on to the final question of this segment. And I gotta tell you, Spencer, to answer that question, the LSA Pride is here. The chat is absolutely blowing up. And also, if y'all would like for the LSA Pride to spread across the rest of the internet, make sure to hit the like button and spread the LSA even further across the internet. And so with that, we are on to the final question of the segment. But thank you so much once again, Spencer, for the unbelievable support.
Yes, indeed. And real quick, before we get on to our last one, just a reminder, if you have a question for us and don't want to put in a super chat, put @EnforcerMatt and your question in the live chat, and I'll add it to the spreadsheet. But our third and last super chat of the first question segment goes to Mark, Colonel of the LSA. He puts in a $120 donation, also extremely generous. And thank you very much, Mark, for the support. He says, my meager donation to wives for the Enforcers Bachelor's Fund for girlfriends. They are not going to get them doing these streams every night.
No, we're not. And I thank you for the support and also helping this channel to keep on running. And I thank you for the donation to Wives for the Enforcers Bachelor Fund for girlfriends. That is a very...
Wait, we're supposed to buy one? What in the world?
Let's see. Should we pull up what someone's doing in Dubai?
Oh dear.
Oh dear. But still, thank you so much once again for the support, Mark, because this stream does happen at an odd hour. It happens at the late night of every single night. We're not really night people anyway, so that's kind of weird actually when you think about it. We aren't really night people, yet we run the stream every single night at night. and we're not even night people. But I do thank you so much once again for the massive amount of support, Mark, and supporting that fund. That is the first donation, well, actually, Super Chat. And I always want to make sure that we get the wordage correct because donations are on Sunday to fundraisers. Super Chats are to us every other day of the week. But I'm going to say that is interesting to hear that you're supporting that fund. Very interesting fund because it's interesting. I just have to say. Now, I wonder, Matthew, if any of the simps are here tonight and they are wanting to be the lucky recipients. Who knows? But with that, thank you once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And thank you so much once again, Mark, for the massive amount of support and, of course, helping this channel to keep on running. Because if it wasn't for folks like y'all, this channel would not be possible. And I don't mean that to just our large super chatters. I mean it to every single one of y'all, big and small. If it wasn't for all of y'all's support in super chats helping this channel to keep on running, this channel would never be possible because we don't run ads. We were completely ad-free. We're completely sponsor-free. And so if it wasn't for folks like y'all, we just wouldn't be able to keep this thing running. And so I want to tell y'all all, thank you so much once again for supporting us and always helping us to keep this thing running because y'all help us to keep the gears running behind the scenes so that way we can keep doing this as our full-time job. And so with that, we're going to be moving on from this question segment. And thank you, Mark, once again for an interesting support to an interesting fund. And we're now going to be moving on into the Northeast. Over the past 24 hours, we have seen very limited movements in the Northeast. Next to none, really. And so moving on into the area around Kuzmievka, we saw that a Russian ATV, an actual four-wheeler, was blown up today by an FPV drone. We also heard the most copyrighted song in the world playing behind it. We can now see the FPV drone flying in, weapons kind of hot. I wonder if the weapons are pre-warmed. And we can see the Russian trying to get away on the ATV, and we can see the smoke plume coming up later. It appears that the Russian was not able to get away. Very unfortunate for him, very fortunate to us. And so with that, we're going to be moving on from that little ATV explosion and on down towards the area of Torske, where we saw that the rough road conditions we saw on film the other day left an MTLB stranded in the mud, which had to be pulled out by a Ukrainian recovery vehicle today. And it's a literal sea of slush down there. If you fall in that, you just drown. I gotta tell you, I would not want to be the guy who's down there in that mud, because that would be, man, that would be tough. And so with that, that's seeing that little clip, but once again showing the tough road conditions in the northeastern area. And it appears that it may be the case that Razpatisha conditions are going on far longer than we expected. And this may be another reason why we're not seeing the Ukrainian counteroffensive yet, is that the ground conditions, one of the most important conditions to make sure that an offensive can keep going, is not good at all. It is literally a soup in the ground right now, and that is the worst conditions to conduct an offensive in. With that, we're going to be moving on out of the area of the northeast and past the direction of Seversk, and on into Bakhmut, and on into the raw juice today. Starting off with our first clip, Wagner has announced that they will be with, well, actually, we'll start off with this one. It's a little bit of a lead up to that one. Prighozin explained the dire situation of the Wagner unit and how bad it has been over the past few months for the Wagner in Bakhmut, and then we'll get on to the big one. So with that, here is the first clip leading up to the second one. So, now, an important point, why did they remove Colonel Miznev? As they say, Colonel Miznev is a man of the Ostaki style, a rare general of the general staff, a simple man without any super demands.
Генштаба, который простой мужик без каких-то супертребований.
When he began to command the rear, he very pragmatically approached ammunition and weapons.
То он очень прагматично подошел к боеприпасам и вооружению.
First, the necessary types of weapons began to be repaired. He put it on the flow, did it well and efficiently. I went to observe all deadlines. During the trips, I stopped by the Far Eastern arsenals. At the Far Eastern arsenals, due to the fact that we have had absolute unemployment since 2012, all the time it was said that Serdyukov is a complete degenerate and he screwed everything up. Therefore, the arsenals at Serdyukov have blown up in his time, remained untouched.
и на них
and they contain a large number of ammunition of the unsuitable category 4.
непригодной 4-й категории. Эта
This is the
4-я
4th category.
бережно
Carefully,
собирала
Mizintsev was collecting ammunition for ammunition,
боеприпасов, гильзы боевых
casings for the combat unit, and so on.
комплектовалась
It was completed, and from these completed ammunitions,
боеприпасов,
he transferred them, artillery ammunition,
артиллерийские боеприпасы, как нам,
both to us
так
and
и
to other
другие
units.
подразделения. И об этом
Everyone knows
всегда
this well, and I think we are still grateful to him for not losing
мы
people.
благодарны ему за то, что не потеряли людей.
When the shell hunger began, we were given about 30% of our applications.
Около 30% от наших заявок.
Our applications are 5 to 6 times less than what is required, according to the calculations that are taught in the general staff.
Требуется по расчетам, которым учат в генеральном штабе.
But we should not forget that there is another form of calculations.
Я вчера
Yesterday, I set a task in high-level specialist calculated according to all the top-secret decrees, including those already signed by the Shoigu in 2017.
согласно всем совсекретным указам, в том числе которые подписаны уже Шойгу в 2017 году.
How does the lack of ammunition affect the losses?
На потери.
The numbers are as follows. When we issue the ammunition that we ordered, which we ordered and which we are supposed to, because it is much higher than what we ordered, based on the number of guns, based on the characteristics of the enemy, the number of personnel and everything else, if we are given 100% of ammunition, then sanitary losses per month are acceptable up to about 10%.
До 10%. Если нам выдают то количество,
If we are given the amount that we were given, and this is no more than 32% in the last 6 months. So what Prighozin is actually saying right here is that over the past 6 months, the Wagner unit has been losing, about, there's two ways you can understand the statement because it's a little weird with how it's worded. Either they're losing 32% of the Wagner unit per month, meaning that they're having to have a constant stream of reinforcements to try and keep the Wagner unit alive, or they've lost 32% of the entire unit, at least according to the number he's stating right here, over 6 months.
2%.
Then sanitary losses average for these 6 months are 27. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, yeah, he did clarify it right there. 27% just about of the Wagner force. That means 1 in every 4 Wagner soldiers were killed off monthly. So a quarter this month, another quarter next month, another quarter of the unit next month. And that's from their actual full strength size. And so if they're losing 5,000 guys in Bakhmut 1 month and they have about 20,000 guys, they're losing another 5,000 next month, and then the next month, and then the next month. And so they're constantly requiring that reinforcements be brought in to just keep the Wagner unit in a stable condition, not to try and grow it or to allow it to shrink. And of course, that was heavily affected once they were not allowed to recruit from prisoner populations anymore.
Here's my question real quick. I see a lot of people asking this in the live chat. What is a sanitary loss?
Sanitary losses are like the expected losses just from normal activity. So, like, when you go into a battle, you don't just sit there and go, we're going in. There's usually some kind of a calculation that they make where they go, okay, if everything goes fine, what will the losses, the expected losses be? How many people will actually die? And so that is what is called, at least from what I understand, sanitary losses is what is the expected number of soldiers that will be killed over a given number of time due to enemy action. And so he's saying that sanitary losses would be around 10% if everything went perfectly.
Yeah, we know that's not the case.
No.
And also notice that old nasty rotary phone on the wall over there to the left.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, that thing's an antique. Here in America, that thing would be like $50 at some kind of a crazy antique shop.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, that thing is old. That is, if in conditions of a heavy, merciless, bloody war during this time, we could lose 60% of the personnel killed and wounded.
Могли потерять 60% личного состава убитыми и ранеными.
Based on the calculations, we have 170% of casualties, meaning that the entire Wagner unit has nearly been killed twice over. So if they started off with, say, 20,000 guys in the Wagner unit initially, that means that nearly 35,000 Wagner soldiers have been killed in the Battle of Bakhmut alone, based off of that number.
170% убитыми и ранеными. Безусловно,
Of course, our losses do not reach 170%. But the difference in the number of casualties, and there are tens of thousands of people, they are in the hands of those who did not give us ammunition. And this is the Minister of Defense, Shoigu, and this is the Chief of the General Staff, Gerasimov. All applications were written, all requirements were submitted. We were not given them. Therefore, for tens of thousands of killed and wounded in front of their mothers and children, they will bear responsibility, and I will achieve this. And that sounds like a threat. I want to draw your attention to the fact that 27% of the population die every month. For a total of 25% of the population, that is, in 4 months, everyone should die. This is exclusively because the officials do not fulfill their duties and do not use what they were taught. Gerasimov was taught, Shoigu, as far as I know, is not, and therefore their unprofessionalism will ruin tens of thousands of Russian guys. And this is unforgivable. And so, with that speech in mind about how badly things have been going for the Wagner, and hearing that they have lost 170% just about of the Wagner's forces over the Battle of Bakhmut, meaning that around 30,000 guys at the minimum have been killed in Bakhmut alone, meaning that the Ukrainian numbers that have been listed this entire time, that some people have been saying are far too optimistic, are true. And the Wagner unit has been losing that many soldiers this entire time. And so we're now going to be moving on into the next clip, where Prighozin clearly stated that the Wagner will be withdrawing from Bakhmut by May 10th if they're not allowed any additional ammunition. In fact, I believe he said, regardless whether they get ammunition or not, they will be withdrawing. So, with that, here's the clip, and we'll just hear it out just to make sure we get the wordage correct. I appeal to myself personally, to the Council of Commanders of the Wagner, to the fighters of the Wagner. I appeal to the NGSH, to the Minister of Defense, to the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, and to the people of Russia. On March 16th, when the SSU went against the plan, we were asked to help. On March 19th of 2022, the units arrived from Africa, fully equipped, and immediately entered the fight. We entered the most difficult possession of the settlement. Then
we got lag.
Oh, we got lag again? Oh, wow, we got bad lag. Yeah, it says we got no data. Can you hear me, Matthew?
I think we're back. Yeah,
And
I think
we
we're
are
back this time.
All right, so we're going to let it continue. Then, in order to save the army, which was running shamelessly from Izyum and Krasny Liman, that's during the Balaklia offensive, we took the front line of more than 130 kilometers and restrained the attack of the enemy. And on October 8th, 2022, in order to give the army a break, in order to pull all the forces on themselves, sacrificing their lives, we started the operation of the Bakhmut meat grinder. In this Bakhmut meat grinder, we showed success and good results, which is why some of the workers of the near military bureaucrats from the Ministry of Defense were crushed by the globe, as they say in Russian. And therefore, we were put on the so-called artificial shortage of ammunition. The bomb hunger, which are lying freely in the warehouses. We received no more than 30% of the needs. Therefore, our losses were significantly higher than they should have been, but we went forward. A month ago, we were stopped from issuing ammunition, and we received no more than 10%. We were going to take possession of the settlement of Bakhmut on May 9th of 2023. But having seen this, the near military bureaucrats actually stopped any deliveries from May 1st, so as not to let us do this. Because they sit, shake their fat bellies, and think that they will enter history as the winners. They have already entered it with cowards. I inform officially the Minister of Defense of the NGSH to the Supreme Commander-in-Chief that without ammunition, my guys will not be able to carry out the losses in Bakhmut. Therefore, on May 10th of 2023, we are leaving the settlement of Bakhmut.
A settlement?
Yeah, you know, like a town. We have two with a small distance of 45 kilometers left. But if, due to your petty envy, you do not want to give the victory to the Russians in tanking Bakhmut, these are your problems. Therefore, I ask the NGSH to sign a battle order. Not a single paper was written to us about the whole war because the leadership is afraid to take responsibility, both when attacking and when leaving. Therefore, we are waiting for a battle order to leave Bakhmut by the 9th, despite the fact that we have almost run out of ammunition. We will remain in Bakhmut so that the sacred holiday for the whole people of Russia will not be ashamed of the brilliance of Russian weapons. Come on. And then we will go to the rear camps after 400 days of daily hard work. And near the rear camps, we will wait when we will again demand the people of Russia I think that this will happen soon, because you are not able to control what you have been put on. You will see my official statement officially at the service. Thank you, that's all. That's the end of the clip. But right there, you pretty much heard it. They're going to be leaving Bakhmut by the 10th. The only thing they want is an official written letter by the Russian government allowing them to leave the positions at least by the 9th of May. But at this point, it may as well be official. The Wagner unit, and we've known this for a while, and we have been seeing it, and it has certainly been reflected in their loss numbers, has been deprived of ammunition. They really can't keep going. They really can't. We've known that for a while. We can't believe that they've been able to keep on going. This is the breaking line right here. The unit is almost broken. There's really nothing left of the Wagner unit that originally went into the Battle of Bakhmut. All of these guys are brand new, green, and hardly experienced, hardly with any weapons, hardly with any equipment, and they are once again going into the meat grinder for at least the next few days. I see some people saying that they don't believe them, but these kinds of statements are not the kind of statements that show a winning country. And a country lies to say that they're winning. That's one thing that you always see throughout history, is that that's the only way a country will lie. A country never wants to make itself look weak, especially in the face of war, and that's what Prighozin is doing right here, is making it appear that the Russian Federation is so weak and so underpowered they can hardly even provide ammunition to a single mercenary group fighting in their largest battle right now. And so we'll be waiting to see them go. I'm sure we will see them go. And as he made this statement, just hours after that official statement was put out, Kadyrov comes right back out from his palace in Grozny and makes a video saying that the Chechen Kadyrovites will replace the Wagner unit on the lines. And so here's this clip. But I want to say one thing. If Prighozin leaves with his men, Kadyrov will come in with his men. Nothing will change. We must win, and victory depends on us, on the Russian people. But I want to say now address the Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu, General Staff, and all the others, so that they meet with Prigozhin and find some common ground. And you can hear him saying Dawn, but you can hardly hear it. So, no misunderstandings of any sort are allowed between us. Nothing like that should happen. And it won't, I'm sure of it. I address Yevgeny Prigozhin, my brother, so he won't cave in to any provocations. And if you leave Bakhmut, then your brother, younger brother, Ramzan Kadyrov, will take your place. We must not just give up what was captured at a price of great losses, the majority of Bakhmut's territory. So I ask you as a brother, don't cave in to provocations. Let's meet however you want to. You know we don't have ammunition, and others have it because they received them on time. But we'll all have everything, ammunition, equipment, everything. It's a matter of time, not for the Wagner. And I gotta say,
This guy right here must be having some serious medical problems. He looks like he is very swollen in the face, and he can barely keep his eyes open.
you know, man, what I was about to say is that he looks like that guy on that clip who said, "We're out here in Amish and we're smoking those doinks." He looks like he's been. Looks like he's been. Go ahead.
He looks like he's been propped up just for this video, and he's about to pass right back out and go into a coma.
Man, I gotta tell you this. I would be going into a coma with a terrible fade like that. Like, the middle part wasn't even cut right. There's just these weird little overhangs, and the rest of it's like a half-inch thick. That's weird looking. But anyways, we can see that Ramzan Kadyrov came out of the woodworks after not being involved in the war for really months on end, along with the Chechen Kadyrovites, which we have not seen for the longest time, and now he's saying they'll replace the guys in Bakhmut, which they won't, because they are also far more incompetent than the Wagner. If you thought the Wagner was incompetent, wait until you see the Chechen Kadyrovites. They're far worse, and they won't be able to do anything. On top of that, we don't even know if they really even exist anymore. But with that, we're going to be moving on from that interesting clip and back into the Battle of Bakhmut and just north onto the M03, where we saw that not only is Prigozhin going mental, but Colonel General Mizintsev, who Prigozhin was talking about just a little bit earlier, was of course ousted from his position by Putin and now ends up in the party of losers on the front line with everyone else. Let me pull up a picture of this guy, by the way, just so y'all know who I'm talking about. Mizintsev.
The devil, you mean?
Let me see if that'll pull it up. Here we go. And let me go to the pictures of the guy. This guy right here, you know, the guy that everyone went, "Oh my God, what's wrong with him?" And I gotta say, you know, the first time I saw him, I could kind of see people saying that. The second time seeing him, oh my God, what is wrong with this guy? There is something bad wrong with this guy. You know what he looks like? He looks like, let me pull this up.
Looks like a ghoul, like he has no blood in his body or something. He's so pale.
1 second. Let me type this in and see if I can. Oh, yeah, I found it. 1 second, hang on. You know what he looks like?
What's that?
Oh, man, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Wait, hang on. Let me find a good picture, the best one. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, my God.
He looks like it, doesn't he?
He does. He really does.
He does. He really does. But this is the general. He was removed from his position just about a week ago. And someone actually called him Mr. Bean. I can actually see that. He does kind of look like Mr. Bean. But I gotta tell you, those eyes right there, I don't know what's wrong with him, but I think someone needs to call an exorcist or something. He looks like he's possessed. Anyways, we're gonna be moving on into the clip where we saw he's now joined the Wagner as well, and trying to act like he knows what's going on. And so here's the clip. To what extent is the experience transferred to trainees who come today as new recruits? We are now at the base of this training. We completely work out all our tactical methods instantly. Yeah, sure you do. Yesterday we had a fight. Today we have already completely analyzed this fight to the smallest detail. So what he's really saying in fancy flashword terms is, yesterday there was a drunken brawl. We've dissected the drunken brawl amongst the soldiers and found out that it was about vodka. So we're going to be giving them more vodka to try and avoid more fights. And we now already are starting to prepare people according to what experience we had. A fight in one direction, a fight in another direction, they are different from each other. To what extent is it generalized so that the trainee is ready for any development of the situation? What the hell is this stupid political talk? I understood the question. Oh my god, this is lame. You know what? We're not watching this anymore. This is just the lamest. Oh my god, I feel like we're back on Narwhal show listening to someone go, that's valid, that's valid. So we're going to be moving on from that clip, but you can see that the guy who looks like he needs an exorcism has joined the Wagner unit. And apparently, you know, he's somewhere. We don't really know where. I'm guessing he's in Russia, but who really knows? With that, we're going to be moving on into the actual battle footage from Bakhmut today, which there was a lot of, starting off near the western ridgeline, where we saw the Ukrainians continuing to defend the city from the Wagner. Take a couple of water here. Now, 300. Break it. I'm trying to repair it. Camouflage. Throw it away. Come on, come on. That's it. That's it. That's it. Come on, come on, come on.
Блять.
Блядь. Yes?
Да. Плюс.
2, 3 plus, so come on, bro. Oof. Jugga jugga.
Так, ну, братан. Отходи. Да.
Got it? Yes, guys, ready? Come on, come on. You now see him firing out of the opening. You now see him reloading the grenade, and we actually saw a little bit of this clip yesterday, but we got the extended version today.
Сука, ну давай, блядь.
Bled, come on, bled. And we see him trying to work the grenade launcher, come on. And he gets the grenade out, and he shoves it back in. That's it. He's now getting ready to fire the grenade launcher again. Fires it. Right there. And then he moves out of the way of the opening once more. We hear the firefight continuing. We can see the buildings filling with dust. Guys, can you take the car out of the way? Hey, it's burning. Oh, that doesn't sound like the car's doing too well. Me and my beautiful wife Camilla were looking into car insurance. And speaking of which, actually over there in Britain right now today, because it is the next day for them, it's the 6th of May. They'll actually be having the coronation for King Charles III today, at least in British time. So once again, small note to make, but very interesting. I hope they're having a great day over there. Hey, it's burning. I'm coming. Guys, be very careful. Come on. Bled. Bled. And with that, that's the end of the clip, but once again showing a little bit of the firefights going on in Bakhmut. Moving on to our next clip, we saw a civilian taking a walk through Bakhmut. I don't even know how this guy is still here, but he is still here. The Russians control most of the city, the Ukrainians control about 17 to 10% of it, and still there is a civilian going about his daily activities in the middle of the city.
Посмотрите, блядь, все горит нахуй, все чурить, блядь, а похмеляться надо, блядь.
Чисто посеред дороги, да?
Чисто по центральной улице парень идет, по старым следам, блядь, ведут его ножки, блядь. Хапака нет уже, блядь.
We see the citizen going on his way.
Пішов. Скорений.
Just right by a burning building. This guy relax and take notes while I take a toll of the marathon. You know, he's sitting there singing that as he's walking along. I don't know why this guy is still here, but you gotta actually admit, watching this guy just going about his daily activities in the middle of a war zone is kind of hardcore. Like, you know, you gotta kind of respect it a little bit. But with that,
nobody's going to shoot him because they're going to be too shocked that somebody's actually that crazy enough to walk down the street in the middle of a war-torn city.
Yeah, true, very true. And dude, the Russians and the Ukrainians are just watching this guy as he walks down the street. But with that, we're going to be moving on into the next clip where we once again saw the Ukrainians laying down fire in Bakhmut. And also, I'm going to have to mute this because the music is bussin'. But we can see him firing a RPK out of the window while another Ukrainian fires an AK. And I said a window, but it's more so just a hole in the wall. Kind of like those restaurants that have the really good food, like the hole-in-the-wall restaurants, but this is really a hole in the wall. And now we're going to be moving on from that clip and on into our next one, more so towards the center of the city, where we got even more footage of the Battle of Bakhmut. You can see this cameraman is out in the open in between some apartment buildings and showing off the damage and destruction that's been caused to the city so far. We hear artillery exploding in the distance. And with that, that's the end of the clip. But we can see right there, of course, the war continuing on in the background and the damage of the war's caused so far to the city of Bakhmut. Now, moving on to our next clip, we saw the Battle of Bakhmut once again through the eyes of a Ukrainian soldier. This was actually after an incendiary attack occurred last night.
Це наче ці. Якісь на острові бунгало тут має бути.
And so with that, that's the end of the clip. Very interesting to see. And with that, we're going to be moving on from that clip and on into the next one, more so towards the center of the city where we saw the incendiaries being used on Bakhmut. And we can see that the incendiary strike that the Russians pulled off last night was massive, pretty much blanketing the entire area of the city that the Ukrainians still hold. Well, that's the end of the clip, but once again showing that the Russians are resorting to using incendiaries where we know there are citizens, because we just saw a civilian moving around just a moment ago on film, and of course blanketing the entire area with an incendiary that could burn those people alive, which is of course a war crime. We're now going to be moving on to our next bit of film, which once again showed from the Ukrainian soldiers the incendiaries exploding in air and raining down on them, which we can see right here. Well, that's the end of the clip, but once again showing the incendiary attack that the Russians pulled off last night. While, of course, Prighozin is begging for more ammo, they are trying to burn down the entire city with the little bit they probably have left. We're moving on into our next clip where we saw some Ukrainian tanks also making quick work of some Wagner soldiers who appear to be completely devoid of AT weaponry, and so the tanks had a free run of it.
Справжні патріоти не ті, які в столиці співають «Ще не вмерла», а котрі їдуть туди, де вмерла.
I think that's a song, but we can see the tanks firing into the building. We can see the both of them taking turns blasting away the Wagner, and it is nice to see that the Ukrainians are able to bring in tank support at this very late phase of the battle, and of course help to support the infantry. With that, we're moving on to one of our last clips inside of Bakhmut, where we saw the ruins of the city again.
Погнали! Погнали! Куда нам следующий?
That's the end of that clip, but as of course you can see, the city is utterly devastated in every single area. There's not a normal part of Bakhmut that remains. And it's crazy to think we have watched this battle from the very beginning, from when Bakhmut was a completely untouched city that was a good while away from the front lines, maybe about 5 miles away, to this point where every single part of the city has been completely destroyed. We're now going to be moving on from this clip and a little bit further behind the lines for a little bit of comical relief, as we saw a Ukrainian soldier waiting for his drone to get satellite signal, trying to do kick flips on a skateboard in the middle of a stairwell. Kind of just a little funny, so here's the clip. Call this man Tony Hawk, because he getting it. I have to say, that's pretty wild that he's trying to do a kick flip in full kit.
Oh, the other guy's gonna try it too?
Yeah, I guess he's going to try it, but they cut off the film because apparently it was an absolute butchering of the skateboard. But anyways, that is the end of the clip. And of course, wild to see that they are conducting le kick flip on le skateboard. We're now going to be moving on out of the Battle of Bakhmut, as that is actually all the footage we have today, and it was a load. That's pretty much the majority of all the video and picture evidence we had from the war today was inside of Bakhmut and surrounding it. And so with that, we're moving on down towards Kurdyivka, where we saw that a T-64 Bulat was spotted in the area. This one was being used by the 92nd Mechanized Brigade, also known as Ivan Serko, of the Ukrainian Army. It also has a mine plow attached to the front, which we can see right here. But I always think the Bulats look pretty cool. It's a really neat armor package for a T-64. With that, we're going to be moving on from that little picture clip from the 92nd Brigade and further down the lines and towards the direction of Avdiivka. And of course, moving on down towards this area of the front line and going over the past 24 hours, you wouldn't believe it, but the Russians have not made any progress at all. So moving on to the only clip we got from Avdiivka, we saw that the Ukrainians were able to target Russian drone pilots with their artillery. Okay, we're going to mute that. That was pretty epic intro, though. And we can now see the Russian drone pilots down there near this destroyed building. I feel like that's a very common phrase at this point. Destroyed building, Russians inside. We can see them flying their drone off. We can now see the Ukrainians calling in artillery on the building and hitting it nearly dead on with the first shot. They're now hitting another compound with another drone operator in it. And this one landed just about several dozen yards away. Second shell landed dead on. We now see them putting up a eulogy for these Russians. Pitiful fools didn't even know what was coming for them. And with that, that's the end of the clip. And very interesting to see that the Ukrainian artillery was able to take care of 2 drone pilots at least today. Moving on into the Kolinsky district of the Donetsk city area, we also saw that a Russian HQ got glassed. When you hear the woman filming the video crying, maybe because the attack was close nearby to her, but another Russian HQ bites the dust. We always love to see it. Love to see it. We'd love to see it. And so we're going to be moving on out of the Donetsk area and on towards the battlefield near Marinka, where we saw that a Russian soldier gave up today after his RPG decided not to work. Some say that when he tried to fire this RPG, he said, hello, I would like a working RPG, and alas, he was at the McDonald's drive-thru, and so they said RPG machine broken. And it appears that in raw frustration of the RP machine being broken, he takes out the RPG warhead and literally chucks it.
Damn.
Great Russian weaponry in action. Oh, man. Dude, this guy literally said, this thing broken. Yeet! It just flings it. Oh, man.
Watch it, like, blowing them all up for throwing it.
Dude, that would have been funny if he had flung it and it hit the tree instead of just flying through the open air and it blew up right there. But that is the great Russian weaponry. And remember, everyone, AKs, RPGs, all that kind of stuff, it is invulnerable to ever breaking down. I have an AK. Not humble flex, but it kind of is. But I have an AK. And I gotta tell you, this thing is the worst piece of garbage I have ever bought as a gun. I have never seen a gun that is as basic as the AK, at least on how it's made. As you can tell they're made, even the reproduction ones like mine, which is from Century Arms, which is a clone of an AK, they are made terribly. Even the ones in America, which are considered similar to a real AK made by Kalashnikov, these things are garbage. They really are. Matthew can tell you, because we took a good look at this thing, and it does not compare to an AR rifle or an M16 or an M4 for that matter. It's nowhere close.
Not even close. And also, if these Russians ever want to have working equipment, they might want to stop buying from Alibaba and maybe get something a little bit better.
I would have to agree with you completely. I think they need to buy something better. I would say that they should buy American weaponry, but sadly, I don't think they can be customers of American weaponry. Also, I see that we're having an excess of bots tonight, Matty. I've seen you smacking bots to an unbelievable degree tonight.
They've been coming in strong, I gotta say.
They've been coming in strong, but Matthew's banhammer is stronger. And so they only last for about a few seconds. But we are seeing the bots, and we are getting them. But yes, AKs are garbage, and so I have to say that across the board, it all has to be garbage. And so it's not shocking to see that the RPG is broken. And so with that, we are going to be moving on from that little clip in Marinka and further on down, where we saw that a Russian tank fired on a Russian position today. This is a very common instance of friendly fire that we see on Russian lines, and we can see here a Russian soldier filming from inside of his trench as a Russian tank fires directly at his trench. There's the first shot, which kind of went over the trench. The Russian tankers are now reloading to throw in a second shot. And we now see the second shot hit the trench. That's the end of the clip, and I've got to say, it is something to see that the Russians are always making sure to help out the Ukrainians in wiping out Russian forces. I don't think anyone can wipe out Russian forces better than the Russians themselves, and I'm very proud of the Russian army as they continue to show that the only people who can kill Russians the best are other Russians. We're now going to be moving on from that clip, which was wild to see, and we're now going to be moving on a little bit further down the lines and towards the area of Mala Tokmachka, where we saw that a Russian tank got blown up today. I don't know what that was, but we're going to mute that. And, Matthew, I guess you could say that the Russian commissar is like this, Matthew. All of our tanks keep blowing up, Blitz. And we can see the tank blow up.
Something went flying. Was that the turret?
No, that was like a side skirt from the engine bay.
Oh.
And the tank is gone. G-O-N-E. Gone. And so with that, that's the end of that clip, and we'd love to see it. We're going to be moving on from the Southern Front, because that's all we saw from the Southern Front today, and into the Zaporizhia Oblast as a whole, where we heard a Russian, I guess you could say, loudspeaker vehicle moving through a town and giving orders to evacuate. We do not know what this order to evacuate was given for, but we did get video footage of it today, and so here's the clip.
5 мая.
We don't really know what
I'm not gonna lie, like, that sounds a little bit fake to an extent. It sounds like it's not outside.
I gotta be honest with you, it did sound a little sus, boom, boom, but I don't really think it was that sus, because we have heard a loudspeaker vehicle before at the very, very beginning of the war, and it did kind of sound like that. It was in the Bucha Hospital airplane area, and it got blown up by an RPG on film. But we did hear it for a little bit, and it kind of sounded like that, but I'll give it a little bit of leeway. It does sound a little odd. But with that, we're going to be moving on from that clip and on out of the area and towards Kherson, where we saw this beautiful Ukrainian trench in springtime. And so here's the clip. And I got to mute the Minecraft menu music, but we can see the Ukrainian soldier walking through the trench. And I got to say, this is the most picturesque trench I've ever seen. Hi guys, it's your daily dose of internet. Watch this Ukrainian soldier walk through this nice trench. The crepe myrtles are blooming. It's nice. Real nice.
And they have crates for walls.
Very nice. Crates, everything. I remember when the crepe myrtles would bloom back in the day. Oh, man, it was a nice time indeed. But with that, that's the end of the clip, and very nice to see the crepe myrtles in bloom. We're now going to be moving out of the area and towards the direction of Mirny, where we saw that a grad got blown up today by Ukrainian artillery. We see the grad getting blown up right there, the Russian crew running for the hills, and the rest of the Russian crews also running for the hills as well, leaving their other intact grad behind. We can also see it getting hit a second time and continuing to burn. With that, that's the end of that clip, but another grad bites the dust on film. We're now going to be moving on to Kyiv, because we've covered all of the news, north to south, east to west, of the war in Ukraine today. And so, without further ado, here's the speech from President Volodymyr Zelensky on the 436th day of the war. Speech!
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці. Сьогодні ми зберегли темпи силу міжнародної роботи. Увесь тиждень дає Україні потрібні результати. Вранці, після повернення з Нідерландів, провів зустріч з міністром закордонних справ Бахрейну. Це, до речі, перший візит глави зовнішньополітичного відомства цієї країни за увесь час наших дипломатичних відносин із 1992 року. Тобто це ще один аргумент, що світ не лише вірить в Україну, але й бачить, як зміцнюється наша держава. Ми говорили із паном міністром про те, як ми можемо разом наблизити мир для України і повернути спокій та стабільність міжнародним відносинам. Я подякував за незмінну підтримку України і цивілізованих правил, зокрема підтримку на майданчику ООН. Ми говорили про українську формулу миру, і я вірю, що Бахрейн може долучитись до її реалізації. Вдень відбувся саміт до річниці нашої державної благодійної платформи United 24. Коли минулого травня починалась робота цієї платформи, у нас було головне завдання – об'єднати звичайних людей по всьому світу, об'єднати заради України і захисту свободи, і це вдалося. United 24 зібрала донати від різних людей, від різних компаній зі 110 країн світу. У нас 15 зіркових амбасадорів. Я особисто пишаюсь підтримкою з боку United 24 нашої роботи заради флоту морських дронів, а також усіма проектами, які пов'язані із безпілотниками для фронту. Це тисячі безпілотників, які роблять Україну потужніше. Багато зроблено і в рамках медичного напрямку United 24. Є результати із напрямком відбудови. Зараз ми додаємо ще освітній напрямок – це відновлення шкіл, а також розмінування. Велике завдання, яке стоїть перед Україною, яке можна реалізувати не за десятиліття, а за роки, якщо буде достатня глобальна підтримка. Жодної російської міни у нашій землі не має залишитись. Ввечері провів зустріч із делегацією Конгресу Сполучених Штатів Америки, і ми говорили про подальшу взаємодію між нашими державами заради глобальної свободи. Зараз, коли ми пліч-опліч з Америкою боремось проти тиранії, ми досягли такого рівня взаємодії, якого ще ніколи не було між Україною та США. Але це ще не межа. Будемо і надалі розвивати нашу співпрацю, наше справжнє союзництво. І я дякую усім, хто допомагає. Дякую президенту Байдену за лідерство. Дякую обом партіям і палатам Конгресу за незмінну підтримку. І дякую усім американцям, чиє прагнення до свободи разом з українськими прагненнями, разом з усіма нашими союзниками і партнерами захищає глобальну демократію. Також сьогодні була зустріч із представниками Венеціанської комісії, із представниками інвестиційного фонду BlackRock. Отже, за тиждень Сполучені Штати і Бахрейн, Нідерланди і Бельгія, Фінляндія і Швеція, Норвегія і Данія, Ісландія, Канада, Нова Зеландія, Африканський Союз та Коморські острови та уся багатонаціональна спільнота донорів і партнерів United 24. Робимо все, щоб світ чув Україну, розумів Україну і допомагав Україні. Бо допомагаючи нам, світ захищає себе. Радий сказати, що у підсумку зустрічі в Гельсінкі та в Гаазі маємо потужне посилення для наших воїнів зброєю на землі, в повітрі і на морі. І я дякую партнерам, це суттєве посилення. Маємо більше прогресу щодо НАТО та Євросоюзу, маємо більше прогресу щодо відповідальності Росії за агресію проти нашої держави. Слава кожному і кожній, хто зараз в бою заради України, у бойових завданнях та на бойових постах. Особливо вдячний за цей тиждень усім бійцям наших повітряних сил та усім підрозділам інших родів військ, які захищають небо. Вистояти, перемогти, покарати ворога – це наше спільне завдання. У єдності щодня, роблячи Україну сильніше, щодня, додаючи нашій державі нові можливості, дійдемо до перемоги. Вічна пам'ять усім нашим героям різних часів, які захищали і захистили Україну. Слава нашому народу. Слава Україні.
And with that,
Героям слава.
that is the end of the speech from President Volodymyr Zelensky on the 436th day of the war. And of course, that wraps up our news segment for the 436th day of the war. I'm going to thank you all so much once again for watching the news segment tonight. It is always an honor to know that so many of you all find this to be a credible source of news on the war in Ukraine, And of course, we would be more than happy to have y'all join our Leaf Spring Army by subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video, as it helps this channel to keep on growing, and it also makes you a member of this Leaf Spring Army, letting you be apprised of the 24-hour news segments of Ukraine 6 days a week, except for Mondays. We take Mondays off, although that's kind of in the air right now a little, but we always run the stream at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, covering the past 24 hours of the war. And so, with that, we're about to be moving on into our question segment and addressing the remainder of the super chats that we have not gotten to tonight, and as many live chats as possible. But of course, before we do that, we have to address all of our polls. We've had some amazing polls tonight, and we always run the polls to make sure to get y'all's ideas and y'all's opinions at large on topics that are in our news segment tonight, and other things that we may have not been able to cover. I always hear some people, in Matthew's defense here, I always hear people complaining that we run a lot of polls, or we run too many polls, or the polls are annoying. And the reason why we run the polls is so that way y'all can have an input and have pretty much a direct say in what y'all think of the news. And so that way we can read it off and look at it and also weigh in our opinions and see what y'all are thinking. That's the point we run polls for, and that's why I think they're great, is it lets y'all actually have a say and an opinion in what y'all think about different kinds of news, and we allow y'all to answer them any way we want, any way y'all want. We give y'all 4 options, and one of them is in complete support of whatever happened, and one of them is in complete, I guess you could say, condemnation of whatever happened. We love the polls. We absolutely love them. And Marcia Tucker out there saying, "Love the polls!" And I got to tell you, I love them too.
Damn, son.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? I had to let loose because I feel like I've been a little too demure tonight. But with that, we're going to be moving on in those polls. And so with that, what do we got, Matthew?
All right, and our first poll says, the former Russian deputy defense minister joined the Wagner group today after being ousted by Putin, and what are your thoughts? 56% said it's another indicator of a coup, 10% said unsure, and 34% said, he just needed another job. And at this point, I'm kind of undecided, because obviously he doesn't need another job. He can't just go and sit at home, I'd imagine. But at the same time, him joining Wagner is kind of like going and joining up with the enemy of Putin, and that could be because he's upset that he got ousted. I'm not really exactly sure why he got ousted. Apparently, he wasn't killing enough people to Putin's liking. But Enforcer, what say you?
And I've got to say, it may be the sign of another coup. It may be the sign of this guy just trying to remain relevant, considering he can't be relevant in the Russian governmental circle. He's going to try and find sub-governmental circles, kind of like the Wagner, as a political group, in a way, to try and join and keep relevant. I think that's probably what he did. So it may be the signs of a coup on the horizon, and that Prighozin is starting to get some friends. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And we are on to the next one.
And the next poll says, Ramzan Kadyrov says he will replace Wagner forces in Bakhmut, but no official confirmation yet. And what are your thoughts? 71% said a complete joke and bring them on. 12% said it might be a challenge for Ukraine. 7% said unsure. And 10% said that is very concerning. And to me, it's not concerning at all. We've seen the Chechens before, and that they can't fight worth a flip. Not only can they not fight, the only thing they can do is create TikTok videos to look like they're doing something, when in actuality, they're well away from any action that might actually get them killed. So that's actually going to turn out to be a good thing for Ukraine, that they show up, because they'll probably be less competent than the Wagner forces. But that's just my opinion. Enforcer, what say you?
I've got to be honest with you, Don. They're not going to be able to do anything, Don. To see how incompetent they were in the Bakhmut, Don, and Mariupol, Don. They can't be competent, Don. What the hell are you talking about, Don? I have liver cirrhosis, Don. I'm going to die, Don. I can't even keep my eyes open, Don.
You want to show people how incompetent they are? Peep the Twitter real quick and show them that video of the guy trying to do the akimbo with the AKs.
Oh no. I've seen that one. Let me go to that one real quick. By the way, a little bit of a plug.
Peter, the Twitter's here.
Make sure
Peep the Twitter.
Make sure to
Peep the Twitter.
because we got 6,248 followers. 6,248 Lee Spring Army soldiers on the Twitter. And as y'all know it,
Peter, the Lee Spring Army's growing on the Twitter.
But anyways, let me scroll on down to the Kadyrov, the beautiful. Oh,
there he is.
Such skill, such grace. Let's watch it.
Oh, dear Lord.
We're in for
Not
it
an
now, fellas.
Not an enemy was hurt that day, but many trees were cut down.
Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse, but a Kadyrovite hopped out of a trench and started firing a Kindle AK. Not the great day for the AK.
Or whatever, you know, but this is stupid, really. And also, I like how you had the white headband, like he was some kind of a Ramzan, Rambo Kadyrov, to try and make a play on the name. Very nice.
You know, these Chechens would get along really well with teenage American girls, like on TikTok.
Oh man, they would. They would, wouldn't they? Yeah, they would. They but you know that would be detrimental, Matthew, because then that means that the Kadyrovites would be introduced to filters, and that would be the end of the Kadyrovites. It really would. Like, you know, they'd be playing that stupid "Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no" as they blow themselves up on a clip on TikTok. But anyways, with that, you know, they're great people. They're great people. I'm sure they'll do fine. I'm just kidding. They won't do fine. They'll do worse than the Wagnerites. Yeah, the Wagner will. I'm getting Kadyrovites and the Wagner mixed up and calling them Wagnerites. That's like the ultimate mix-up of the century. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and our next poll says, let me flip over to it, Russia has ordered the partial evacuation of many Russian-held areas along the southern Ukraine front line, and what are your thoughts? 67% said good because Russia knows what's coming, 10% said unsure, 5% said it's for the Russian offensive, and 18% said bad, Russia is planning bad things. I think, obviously, not too many comments required. Russia knows what's going to happen very shortly, and they're preparing for the worst. They expect failure. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would say, first off, before we get to that poll, I saw something in the live chat that I would like to address real quick because we got a little bit of a pointed thing. Oh, it's gone. I was actually addressing that one specifically.
Oh, it was that one?
Yeah. Someone said, love the stream, but the Enforcer doesn't need to explain everything like this is third grade. I know he likes to talk, but geez. Well, the reason why we explain things like the third grade is because, unlike you, some people are not blessed with just knowing what a T-90M is, or a T-72B3, or what the Russians do, or what an artillery battery size is. So we like to explain those things so that way newcomers to this entire thing that are, you know, just trying to understand what the war is about can actually understand what's going on instead of me just throwing out word vomit to try and sound intellectual and smart and then, you know, just really get nothing across to anyone. So that's why I explain things like it is the third grade, because sometimes we do, because I think that's very important in helping newcomers to understand what's going on. I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't sit there and act like people ought to know this crap. I mean, I completely understand people don't. People got lives out there. See, some people don't sit on the computer like I and you did for like 40 hours a day for about 10 years and just read everything we can about this stuff. Some people go out there and they like go to the beach and they have a job and then they want to support Ukraine, but they don't really know what's going on. And so it's important to always help them out, you know, help newcomers out and be nice to them and explain how things work. So that's why we do that. But I don't know, Matthew. Did you time him out or give him the ban hammer? Which one was it?
Oh, he got the ban hammer because I've never seen him before, and the first thing he did was that. So that tells me he was probably a bot.
Yeah, probably a bot. So can you reread that poll again real quick?
The poll says, Russia has ordered the partial evacuation of many Russian-held areas along the southern Ukraine front lines, and what are your thoughts?
Whoa.
This is how it feels to be that guy.
My butt's been wiped. Low kids, you know, reread the line.
Can you hear me now?
I think I can't. Listen, I can hear you. But reread the line again, please.
Listen, it's gonna be okay.
But anyways, yes, it's so creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
The poll says Russia has ordered the partial evacuation of many Russian-held areas along the southern Ukraine front line. And what are your thoughts?
It may be that they're preparing for a counteroffensive and they're freaking out, and so that's why they're ordering that evacuation. That would be my honest opinion on that. And so with that, I hope that does address the poll fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
And the next one says, officials say that HIMARS in Ukraine are becoming less effective due to Russian jamming efforts, and what are your thoughts? 38% said not good because Ukraine relied on those. 18% said unsure. 15% said they still work sometimes. And 29% said it's fine. This has happened before. And I will say that I'm with the 15%. They still do work sometimes. They aren't rendered completely useless. They're just saying that they're simply becoming less effective because some Russians do have the jamming technology available where they can jam it and mess the targeting systems up. Obviously not a good thing. Hopefully the Russians can't expand upon their jamming efforts because if they do, it could render HIMARS completely useless. But they're still highly effective even at this. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would have to say it probably won't phase the HIMARS that much in reality, and we have heard that they're already working on steps to mitigate the jamming, so in my honest opinion, it's not really going to phase it much. And on top of that, we see that the Russians don't even have the ability to provide basic ammunition to Russian forces. They can't even provide the Wagner with a single shell. So how in the world would they be able to have enough of these jamming devices so the HIMARS becomes completely useless everywhere? I would just believe that would be highly unlikely. But with that, I hope that does address that poll fairly well. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And the next one says, the U.S. plans to send $500 million in Taiwan military aid. And what are your thoughts? 59% said good. The U.S. has concerning intel, apparently. 9% said unsure. 25% said it's a sensible precaution. And 7% said no need to send aid right now. And I will say that I think there is probably some intel going behind the scenes that we are unaware of publicly. Because to send $500 million just out of the blue like that, while we've known there's a big threat of Taiwan getting invaded, seems like something has transpired in the background. Obviously, we don't know, but it will be curious to see what unfolds in the coming weeks. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would say it's good to hear. I would actually, to be honest, that's not that surprising. We actually did something similar about the time of 2018 for Ukraine, and we sent them TOW missile launchers and Humvees in a considerably large package about that size as well. So it may just be that we're trying to show that we're on their side and giving them kind of like a gift package nearly, because it's not large. You know, it's not like one of those $3 billion packages we would be seeing sent to Ukraine. It's just $500 million. And so it may just be to show that if the Taiwanese need support, there is an open support line to the United States where they can continue to get weaponry and equipment to defend their island with. So I think it's more so in that category, not really showing that they're expecting a war happening anytime soon, but just making sure that they know that there is support that will come from the United States, and they are clearly on their side by giving that support. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
All right, and it's now time to hop back into our Super Chat questions, and up first, we have a $69 Super Chat.
Nice.
Nice. And guess who? It's not from Psyops this time, it's from Vitaly.
Vitaly!
Hey! Who says, happy birthday at Smell Me Fingers and Enforcer Matt. Slav Ukraine. And Putin, Huilo. Love you, LSA. And also, happy birthday to Smell Me Fingers. Yeah!
One second, let me burst everyone's eardrums real quick. Let me back up. Happy birthday! So, happy birthday to Smell My Fingers. Well, Smell My Fingers. Yeah, it is Smell My Fingers. I had to make sure I said that right. And also, happy birthday to Enforcer Matt. It's not his birthday yet, but we'll have it today.
2,147 years old.
Damn, son, where did you find those? So, how'd you get that old?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Dude, really, though, if you were that old, you would sound like this. Son, where'd you find this? But still,
or you sound something like, whoa, what's going on?
What happened? Anyway, but anyways, moving on from that, I gotta thank you so much once again for the support. Vitalio, you know what that means?
Oh, no.
but I gotta thank you so much once again, Vitaly, for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. We want to, of course, extend a happy birthday to Smell My Fingers. A happy birthday to you. I hope you've been having a good one. I hope you've enjoyed it being on here tonight. And also, Slav Ukraini. And I will have to agree, Putin is Huilo. And also, we love the LSA as well. Can we get a little bit of love for LSA in the live chat? Can we have a live chat? Can we have an LSA put in the live chat? What happened? I honestly think that doing that voice impersonation is making me stutter a little bit more, in my honest opinion.
Stammer.
I have a stammer. That's a king's speech. But anyways, with that, I thank you so much once again for the support, Vitaly, and of course helping this channel to keep on running. And thank you so much once again for the support and helping these lights to keep on, so that way this channel can keep on running. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again. And of course, happy birthday to Smell My Fingers.
Yes, indeed. And up next, we have a $50 super chat from John Webster. And thank you very much, John, for the very generous support. And he says, how was the first week with no school, finally getting sleep, and doing anything you couldn't do before? Love what you two do and the LSA community. And also, bye-bye, Wagner.
And I thank you so much for the support. And yeah, it's been good. We've been getting sleep. I could say that for sure. We have been getting sleep. But we've been trying to work on doing other stuff. So, getting up and trying to tend to a couple of things, getting ready to film the drone video, which should be happening here soon. And the drone should be on the way to the 231st soon. And they'll also start filming their end of the video once they get the drone. So everything is coming together and everything is working. Can you hear me, brother?
Yes.
Raise him, praise Dale. All right.
Damn, son, the stream came back from the dead. That's amazing.
Came right back. And so, where were we?
Where were we?
Where were we? What happened? Well, on that note, do you know where we were, Matthew?
We were probably on the last super chat. So let me see what the last one said. It was about how are you doing your first week of no school?
Oh yeah, we are getting some sleep. We are starting to try and work on more projects. And we are hoping to get the drone video made soon. We're actually hoping on getting the gun review videos in the works as well. And hopefully getting everything worked out with those. Those are actually going to be a little bit higher end in quality, at least from what we're hoping. And we hope that the end product is high quality and that you'll enjoy it. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. Thank you so much once again for support and helping this channel to keep on running. And I hope that answers that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
Yes, indeed. And up next, we have a $50 super chat from Colleen Emsley. Thank you very much, Colleen, for the very generous support. And she says, hello, and thank you for the continued coverage. I hope to hear Ukraine on major offensive very soon, and Alberta on fire now. Well over 100 critical active and so many evacuations. Ice off the lake, and they need the water for the bombers and the helis.
Thank you for the support, Colleen. That's wild to hear there is a large wildfire going on in Alberta, Canada. I believe yeah, there it is. Calling Lake is right up here, so it is in Alberta.
Can we go to Banff?
We go to Banff and we find a unicorn. Anyways, it's sad to hear that Alberta is on fire. I don't know where it is specifically. Now, let's pull it up. Alberta wildfire. Someone's about to say, how do you not know? Why are you Googling it? Let's see here if we can find it, though. 13,000 forced from homes, out of province. Firefighters en route to help. So let's go to the weather channel. Wow, that's a pretty big fire, I will say. There's 80 fires burning there right now. Jeez. And these ads are sus. But let's see here. I would play it. Actually, I would play that, but I don't know. So sadly, we can't really figure out where it is, at least at the moment. But I hope that it gets quelled. Usually, fires are not really anything you want, and especially if they become devastating. And I hope that things are okay up there. It's interesting here that they are using Calling Lake for water to try and put out the fires with the fighter-fighting planes. And so with that, I thank you so much once again for support, Colleen, and also dropping by and supporting this channel and helping us to keep this thing running. And also, I hope that things go well with that. I really do. First it was a burglar at your house, and now it's a wildfire. Things are going on for certain in Alberta. And so with that, thank you so much once again for support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And the next one goes to Flash1, who puts in a very generous $45 super chat. And thank you very much, Flash, for the support. He says, Enforcer to Enforcer Matt with a Bobcat. On to our next one. I get no respect. I get no respect.
Oh,
call
man,
him out.
Tony.
Call him out. The LSA shout, singing la 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 la. Ah, Maz. Target on Nutsack's head. And, whoa. I cannot read that last one, but he said, moist. Done.
Oh no. Oh no. That's not good, man.
This is unequivocally bossing. But still, I thank you so much once again for the support. and helping this channel to keep on running and coming up with all of the quotes that we've been known for. Actually, one of those can be attributed to someone else, which we then promptly picked up and just started using over here. But I still thank you so much for the support and helping this channel to keep on running and enjoying this channel so much that you actually remember some of the funny little gaffes and jokes that we've been making over our time here. And of course, I thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, what say you, Matthew?
I say he almost got every single channel gaff down to a science.
He did. He almost did. It's wild. It's crazy, actually. And I guess you could say, Matthew, just on this one occasion, that was so impressive that we're going to have to call him out. And so we will not do that any longer. We just did it for this one because it was in there. You know, just making sure, because I know people or someone's running somewhere saying, "Oh my god!" But anyways, and also Blaster57 said, "Please stop trying to be funny. It's not working." Well, it looks like our careers are over, Matthew. Blaster57 came in and said that that's it. We can't do the show anymore.
He called himself Blaster57, but he found out he's not Blaster. I am.
I guess you could say, Matthew, that he found out he got blasted 57 times.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. But I got to tell you, Matthew, I hate to see that because we were counting on Blaster57's approval to run this show, and now that he said that we're not funny, yeah, I just don't think we can run this thing anymore. So good night, everyone. Take care.
I was scheduled to go to Blaster's comedy class tomorrow, but I guess I'll have to cancel now.
Man, I'm telling you, man, I seriously thought that we were funny enough for Blaster's approval. I've been hearing all over the internet that this guy called Blaster was really the guy to please, but it appears that we can't meet his high standards. It's terrible to see that. I'm sure he'll find someone out there though that he gives the approval to, and it will help them to stay in their job. I really think it
Turn up the fire because we were roasting them hot tonight.
Turn up that blast furnace. We put blast in it. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one. Thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running.
Yes, indeed. And up next, we have a $20 super chat from none other than Marion Deemer. And thank you very much, Marion, for the support. And she says, good evening and all the best.
And good evening and all the best to you as well. And of course, thank you so much once again for support and helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one, but wishing you all the best as well. Of course, I can't make any jokes, though, because that would not beat Blaster's approval. And we always want to make sure to keep in Blaster's good graces, because he's the only person on the internet that counts, right? And then Carl Palma said, ban that motherfucker. It's like, oh, just like,
Carl playing.
Dude, Carl be coming in here with the peas. He be coming in here with the iron. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and our next one goes to JD Mako23, who puts in a $20 super chat. And thank you very much, JD, for the support. He says, happy birthday, smell me fingers, and whoop, whoop.
And whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. And also, happy birthday once again to Smell Me Fingers. He's been around here forever. He's an old guard. He's been here since the beginning, pretty much. And I got to say happy birthday to Smell My Fingers, and I also got to say thank you so much for the support and helping this channel to keep on running, so that way we can be here for people's birthdays. Because it is pretty cool to know that people choose to be on this stream during their birthdays, because you could be doing anything. It is your birthday, but you chose to come here, and I'm highly honored by that. And I hope you've been having a fun one tonight, Smell My Fingers as well. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
You say it so literally. You say, smell my fingers. It's supposed to be my fingers.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I can't really make it work like that, though. That's not
right,
the way.
you smell my fingers.
Wait, hang on. I'm sorry, man. Wait, well, hold on. Whoa. We can't be laughing like that. That's not what Blaster wants. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Blaster.
Thank you for the support. All the life has been drained out of my body. We're on to the next one.
I guess I'm due for a whipping now from Blaster. But anyways, up next, we have a $20 super chat from Ike GPH. And thank you very much for the support, Ike. He says Yevgeny Prigozhin will be assassinated by Putin in less than 2 weeks.
Well, I thank you for the support, and I think that he probably will have his brains blown out across the floor here in the next few weeks. It's terrible. I think we should cry about it, Matthew. Please commence crying.
Wang.
But anyways, thank you so much for the support. I think he probably will get blasted or fall out of a window here within the next few weeks because he's getting a little too critical, far too critical to survive. That doesn't work in Russia like the way he thinks it works for him. So with that, thank you so much once again for support. I hope that does address that fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
All right, and while I grab one more thing here from the live chat, there we go. We're moving on to our next one, which goes to Blue Flam 777, who puts in a very generous $20 super chat as well. And thank you very much, Blue Flam, for the support. He says, orcs becoming sick at the front equals, how do you prepare drinking water? First, we filter it, then we boil it. And after that, well, just be cautious. We drink vodka.
And I think you're in support. That is probably how the Russians do water filtration. They sit there and go, let me go find the stillest water in swamp. They grab it. Man, it's been hitting us like nothing ever before tonight. Yeah, it's flatlined. Can you hear me?
It's Blaster. He's blasted us.
Oh, no!
I think I can hear you now.
Oh, God. I'm scared. Can you hear me?
I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back, actually.
We're back.
Hey.
We're back.
Oh.
And also, I gotta say, I told you all, we can't have our career without Blaster's approval. They're trying to kill us. And now it's time for me to go and find someone in the world and then blame them, although there's no proof. So with that, we're on to the next one.
All right, and the next one goes to Bilbo Jenkins, who puts in an $11 super chat, and thank you very much, Bilbo, for the support. He says, if you're in a war, instead of throwing a hand grenade at the enemy, throw one of those small pumpkins. Maybe it'll make everyone laugh, and as they're laughing, you can throw a real grenade at them.
Dang, son, okay. Well, thank you for the support, and I thank you for sharing that interesting idea with us there, because I think that actually could possibly work. I think it may. So yeah, why not? I would say go ahead and do it. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a super chat from none other than Psyops. And thank you very much for the support, Psyops. He puts in a $10 donation. And he also sent in a musical piece of work. And it is in your Discord DMs, Enforcer.
Oh, no. They thought that many, many years ago, they saw the last of every soldier show, but here we are, yes, here we are again. Oh, well, thank you for sending me those messages, Matthew, on Discord going, stop! It was not shut down! I never saw those.
I was trying to save you.
Yeah, I never saw those, because, you know, I can't see into my Discord anywhere on any of my screens. Let's see. I think we could probably sing this because it seems like some kind of a vaudeville song. So... My little buttercup has the sweetest smile, dear. No, we're not doing that.
No,
But
keep going, man.
No, man, we ain't doing that. Hell no. Hell no. Simon Cowell would have my ass literally executed like some kind of a Japanese peasant in the medieval age. We're not living in the Heian period here. But still, thank you so much once again for the support, Psyops. Wait a minute. Someone said bagpipes. Nah, we couldn't do bagpipes. I could probably do accordion if I had it here, but I don't have my accordion with me right now. And some people are going, continue. No. Yeah. Beef said, holy!
One day, if you ever actually run for president, somebody's going to be playing this moment at your campaign. I guarantee you. They're going to be like, what's this? By then, Blaster's going to be showing up talking about, he's funny. It's funny. Get him.
Dude, he's going to be saying that. Blaster's going to be sitting there like that guy at the end of 1984 going, and as I sat there with the bullet going through the back of my head, I realized I loved the Enforcer. And that's just how the story ends. That was the lamest ending to a story ever. Get it out of here. But anyways, thank you for the support, Psyops. I don't think I can sing this. I will read it, though, but I won't be able to sing it. My little buttercup has the sweetest smile, dear little buttercup. Won't you stay a while? Come with me where the moonbeams paint the sky, and you and I might linger in the sweet by and by. Oh, but still, thank you so much for the support, Psyops, and helping this channel to keep on running. Of course, your support helps this thing to keep on rolling. While we can't sing well, and I can tell you this, I am under no delusion whatsoever that I am the worst singer that has ever come around. But I still thank you so much for the support once again, and I hope that you got a little bit of a laugh out of that. Gus BS just put in a stop sign. And I guess that is my sign, much like Blaster's sign, that we will no longer be able to enter the record business. I guess we're not getting out of the hood with this one. Man, this thing got me. But anyways, with that, and Lauren said, don't quit your day job. Oh, man, if only I had a day job. I only have a night job, and this is it. So with that, hey, listen, for the money you're paying here, yeah, this ought to be a riot. But anyways, we're on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next. Oh, yes, indeed. And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Mamba Mentality. And thank you very much for the support, Mamba. And Mamba says, I don't think the Wagner unit will get ammo again. And I'd have to agree with that. And he says, should Ukraine attack all Wagner positions on the front lines to gain ground?
I don't think they should, because while they're out of ammo, there is a lot of them. So it makes it pretty difficult to deal with them because, you know, it's very slow going. Yeah, I have to either wipe them out, force them to surrender. There's so many of them. It's going to take a while. So I wouldn't really think to do that. I would think to engage them, though, and at least close the distance. That would probably help out the Ukrainians a lot, but not really to push into them and try and push them back. But they are probably never getting ammo again. I will certainly agree with you on that. And thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And I hope we answered that question fairly well, at least in my opinion. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
All right, and up next, we have another super chat from none other than Psyops. And he puts in a $10 super chat. And thank you very much, Psyops, again for the support. He says, I love the LSA and will never give you up or let you down. And I won't run around and hurt you.
You got rickrolled. You got rickrolled, Matthew.
But the catch is this. I went ahead and read it anyway, because if I'm the one reading it off, it's not getting rickrolled. Somebody has to do it to me.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. And then someone's gonna be going, oh, man. Dude, that sucks.
That's the great value, Rick Astley.
Yeah. And then Stephen Fisher learned in the live chat. He sat there and said, geez, can't please anyone. No, you can. You'll learn that. No, you can't. You can't please anyone. You can't please everyone. I've learned that being here for 436 days. You can't please them all. I sit there and I do this voice and I piss some people off. I do this one, and that doesn't make people happy either. They get real pissed off. And that was way too coherent, actually. But anyways, I can do anything. It does not please people. We've learned that over time. You see, and what's interesting about it is that you really can't let it bother you too much, because usually the ones that are just dogging you are like the smallest group. Like, you can get a 99% like rate on these streams night after night, which is what we usually get. It's like 98% really, which is pretty much the wide majority of people who watch the stream. They like it. And then we get like 80 dislikes out of that, and it makes it like 98.5% or something like that. So, you know, while you have a very vocal group of people that hate your guts, and they're very vocal and they make it look like almost everyone hates you, in reality, no one really does. But anyways, with that, I hope that addresses that fairly well, Stephen Fisher. Don't take it personally. Sometimes you just can't please folks. But with that, and Stephen Fisher said, I love you guys stream. Hey, we love you too, Stephen Fisher. We love you too, pal. But with that, we're on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on rolling.
Yes, indeed. And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Wubba. And thank you, Wubba, for the support. He says, $10 because I am a slacker.
What? You a slacker? Well, pick up the slack, dang it. But still, thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. Slacker or not, you're a valuable part of this Leaf Spring Army. And I thank you so much once again for being here tonight and, of course, helping this channel to keep on running. Folks like you is the kind of folks that help this channel to keep on rolling, that grease our gears and help us to keep paying the rent, helping us to keep the lights on, helping us to get coffee, donuts, pizza. We eat pizza tonight. And without y'all, none of that would be possible. We wouldn't be able to do this as a job. And so thank you so much once again. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And get this. Somebody said, it seems the Enforcer and Enforcer Matter bullies against, and then they didn't finish the sentence. Finish the sentence, Enforcer.
Please finish the sentence. It seems the Enforcer and Enforcer Matter bullies against assholes. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are, pal, we are. Because you know something? I've been doing this for 436 days. I've been doing it for nigh on nearly a year and 4 months, all right? A year and a quarter, all right? People want to come in here and give us crap, all right? You know, you understand? For 436 freaking days. You get tired of it after a while, and you're going to shoot back. Because these people are coming in here thinking that this is the first time anyone said anything to us. We've dealt with it for 436 days, pal. We're putting people down here, all right? This is the vet, and this is the part of the thing where your dog's got cancer, and that thing's got to be put down, I'm telling you. That's how we treat this thing up in here. But yeah, we do that. We don't, no, I have to say this. We don't bully people. But if you want to tell us off, we will tell you off. You know, and that's how it is.
Here's my thing. Here's the trend I'm noticing these days. Just with the small minority of bots and like haters that want to come in, they can easily dish out the trouble. Like they can let us have it. The moment we do something minor back to them to give them a taste of their medicine, they fall apart and crumble like bad.
They do every single time. People always want to come in here with heat in their mouth. And then when we give them heat and a little bit of mouth back, and usually it's just a passing jab, they go, how dare you treat a viewer like that? It's like, how dare you treat the guy running the show like that? You know?
Like he finished the sentence.
What the hell? Oh, man.
He did that on purpose.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Oh, we got lag again.
Oh, dang, we got a lag again. Look at that. Oh, man.
We're back quick that time.
Get no respect. All right, so we'll read that one off real quick since we're talking about it. Devin Harris actually put in a $10 super chat and says, it seems the Enforcer and Enforcer Matt are bullies against people who stutter. I'm a stutterer and have been a lurker ever since the beginning of the channel. Now, I will have to say this. All right? We make jokes. I make jokes on anything. That's comedy. We make jokes on fat people, normal people, good-looking people, bad-looking people. We make jokes on ads. We make jokes on really anybody. We make jokes on this guy. Wait. We make jokes on this guy. We make jokes about everything. Because if I sit there and I don't make a joke about something, it would be kind of boring. So that's why we make jokes like that. If you have noticed, every once in a while, I do have a little bit of a very, very small stutter. And that's why sometimes we sit there and really exacerbate that. And I go, I have a stammer, because I do have a small stutter. And it really is exacerbated when I'm off this show, because when I'm on this show, I've got lightning fast ideas coming through, and I can talk it out perfectly fine like I am right now. And while there is a little bit of a rocky road in there here and there, I do have a bit of a problem with the stammer every once in a while. So that's why I sit there and I joke about it. I joke about everything. So it's nothing in particular, nothing against a specific group of folks. It's what we do. It's comedy. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And thank you for the support, and thank you for clarifying that. I thought you were talking about us bullying people like Blaster, who was coming in here saying that. But thank you for clarifying that, and thank you for the support as well. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Psyops once again. And he says, so the orcs said Putin was in a bunker during the drone attack. And bunker is a weird way of saying, I can't read that off. It took me a second to debate if I could read that off, but I can't. Because it sounds weird. I think it has a double meaning. But he was down in the bunker, hanging out with Seagal.
Okay, well, thank you for the support, helping this channel keep on running. And of course, without silly folks like you here, this channel wouldn't be as special as it is. And I got to thank you so much once again for the support, helping this channel to keep on running. I hope we addressed that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
All right, and up next, we have a $10 super chat from David L., who says, who wins a hot dog eating contest? Is it Kadyrov or Prighozin?
I have to give it to Nutsack, because Nutsack looks like a nutsack, so he would probably win the hot dog eating competition. I got to be honest with you. Ham and cheddar, man, he would beat the ham and cheddar contest hands down. But Kadyrov, nah, he wouldn't. he would win the hot dog competition. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, and thank you once again for the support. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And up next, Psyops puts in another $10 super chat, and thank you again, Psyops, for the continuous support. He says, Zelensky received a pistol today. It was pretty sexy.
Oh, really?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Can't read the last part. I cannot read that.
We were getting ahead, weren't we?
But no. He actually did receive a pistol today, and it's on the Twitter. Peep the Twitter because it's there. It's a CZ75 automatic pistol. It's in blue, and it looks absolutely wonderful. And it's in a nice wooden display box.
So let's see here. Let's see if we can find this thing. Let's find this thing. Oh, wow. Man, that's sick.
Show it on the screen.
Peter, the
yes.
pistol's here.
Man, that is a really good one, actually.
Man, he had to take his iPhone case off to take a picture of that one.
Yeah, man, this thing's so good. It gets the iPhone case off. But man, that is impressive right there.
Wonderful. Hey, there's Psyops putting an exact comment in the comments over there.
Oh man, it got read off anyways. But still, I gotta say, that is one hell of a pistol right there, I'd have to say. Pretty nice. And so with that, thank you so much once again for support. I hope that does address the comment fairly well. And I'd have to say,
wait. Before you click off of this one real quick, I just want to say, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote the caption on this one. I said, I have a feeling that Zelensky will be holding on to this one, like he was going to throw it away or something. But it got a lot of views. That's nice.
Yeah, it did. It got 2,000 views. Not bad. But yeah, what in the hell is he going to do with it? Just toss it out the window?
I don't know what I was thinking. That was really kind of a stupid caption, actually.
Well, everyone makes mistakes. Like Dennis said, we do make mistakes.
Oh yeah. I'm glad he owned up to that one.
I'm glad. Well, at least he told us. At least someone's honest with us. But with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support, Psyops, and I hope we addressed that fairly well.
And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Robert Dursing, who says, Wagner loss is U.S. boon. Go ahead and snatch and grab Navalny.
Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and just grab Navalny. We're going to grab him like a collector's item. Come here, you. Just grab him and bring him to America. But with that, I thank you so much for the support. I would agree. Get that fellow. Bring him on over. And with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Catfish Noodler, who says, Amerifani isn't first with the super chat tonight. Love you guys.
And thank you so much for the support. We love you too. And I got to thank you for being a catfish noodler. It's a very dangerous job being a catfish noodler. And get your arm broken out there. You really can. And thank you so much once again for the support. And also being the first super chat of the night, apparently. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope we addressed that fairly well. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And also, I think I spot a troll in the chat. Can you spot the troll, Enforcer?
Let's see here. Since you just said his name, Ukraine just got nuked.
Wait a minute. I asked him. I said, "Troll?" ?
He said,
he
yes.
literally said yes. He just said yes.
No,
that's not the way it's supposed to go.
That's about the most straightforward investigation we had. All right, well, that's like saying
that's called self-snitching,
dude. That's like being at Salem and asking someone, "Are you a witch?" And they go, "Yes." It's like, oh, well, what do we do now? It's like, well, we don't have to torture them to get the answer out of them. They just said, yeah, what do we do? But anyways, it looks like that one's gone. And wow. Just said rookie troll. Yeah. That was a rookie right there. He'll have learned a little bit. He'll put on the mustache and glasses trick next time, but we'll be able to see through it. And so with that, we are on to the next one. But thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel keep on running.
Right now he's getting whacked on the knuckles with a ruler, and the Russians tell him, no, don't be honest. You're supposed to be dishonest.
You're supposed to lie to them.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But anyways, moving on to our next super chat, we have a $5 donation from Paddington, who says 674 Canuckston pesos is 5 USD.
Well, I thank you so much for the currency translation, Paddington, and telling us how much Canadian dollars are to US dollars, or as you call it, Canuckston pesos. And I thank you so much once again for the support and help this channel to keep on running and showing us a hands-on example of currency exchange. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for support and helping this channel to keep on running. And Try and Take Alaska came up with the going, man. He said he was trolling you softly. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Muskrat82, who makes a grand return to the LSA. Can you believe it?
Hey, let's get up to Muskrat. Hey!
He says, have you heard anything about an underground NATO base in Ukraine being hit by Russia, like I have heard about?
I have not actually. I would say, yeah, no, because if there was a NATO base in Ukraine, that would be really weird that it was built underground and nobody really had an inkling about it. And if the Russians really knew about it, why wouldn't they try and expose that and show it to the world with actual verifiable proof? So with that, I thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving on to our next one, we have a $50 super chat from Yon Ranger. And thank you very much for the support. And I have a strong suspicion that is your first super chat. But correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you very much for the support. And he says, the enforcer has been true to his word. He would keep at this until the war ends, and I've been watching over a year so far. And keep up the great work, guys.
And thank you so much for the support, Yon Ranger. And thank you for respecting our dedication to this never-ending grind. It has been 436 days, and we've kept up with it without fail for 436 days. We've never stopped. We've never taken a break. Actually, we have taken a break. We took a break on Christmas and Thanksgiving, but those are the only breaks we've ever actually had on this channel, are two. And it's pretty crazy to think that we have been at this for 436 days straight. It's been quite a journey. I can't say that it has been the easiest journey. At times, it has been somewhat tough behind the scenes to keep everything running all together. But somehow it all did run, and I finally graduated college at magna cum laude with a bachelor's in history, and I finally got through that part. Now I'm going on into law school, and this thing is still going. It is pretty crazy to think about that. And I thank you so much once again for respecting that I have kept to my word and kept this thing running. One thing that is a little unfortunate, though, that I have noticed, and some of y'all may have noticed as well, is that the short war summaries have come back, and I've made two of them. I made one yesterday and one today, and both of them are not doing that well, really. And it's really making me question if that's really the kind of video format that we should be going with anymore, if we should go back to trying to make the long form 10-minute videos where I just explain a specific topic in the war and then upload that, because it seems as though that may be more interesting to y'all than the short war summaries are at this point. Because right now, actually, just to put this into I guess you could say actual meaning, over the course of 4 hours and 21 minutes, the short war summary that we put up today only got 8,000 views. It is actually the worst video we have ever made by viewership numbers. And so I don't know. I don't know if we'll keep those around long or not. They may be replaced by the longer form videos that we used to make, where we would just explain stuff instead. But with that, I thank you so much once again for the support and enjoying our dedication to this war, because hell or high water, I said at the beginning of this war that we would keep this thing running until the end. Sometimes that feels like it almost will be impossible, but we always power through, and we always make sure that the stream will keep running and that the channel will keep going. And of course, making sure to upload news every single day. And so with that, thank you so much once again for support. I hope we addressed that fairly well. And if that was your first super chat, and I have a feeling that it actually was, thank you so much once again, Yon Ranger, for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a very generous $50 super chat from channel legend Joseph M. Sika. And thank you very much, Joseph, for the support. And it's good to see you once again. And he says, we shall make jokes on the beaches. We shall make jokes on the landing grounds. What the hell kind of voice is that? Enforcer, you want to take this over?
We shall make jokes on the beaches. We shall make jokes on the landing grounds. We shall make jokes in the fields and in the streets. We shall make jokes on the hill. And we shall never surrender. And if Ireland, or a large part of it, was subjugated and starving, then the new world, with all its power and might, would step forward to the rescue and the liberation of the old. And that is what we're going to try and do.
But still, thank you so much once again for the support, Joseph M. Sika, and helping this channel to keep on running. And of course, that is the Enforcer Churchill. It's not a good one, I have to be honest with you. But I do thank you for the support, and also enjoying our jokes. I think jokes are important. I think jokes are really important, really. I don't know how people can go through life without joking. I feel like those must be some sad, miserable people. Because I got to be honest with you, I don't know how people go without making jokes. But still, thank you so much once again for support, Joseph, and helping this channel to keep on running. And I hope we address that fairly well. And with that, we're on to the next one. And thank you once again.
All right, and up next, we have a $10 super chat from Trister1. And thank you very much, Trister, for the support. He says, Enforcer, it's a different format, but you'll get more views because it's not 3-hour streaming, and I'd suggest watching and retooling some kind of shorter vids to augment the streams. And hello to Joseph M.
And hello, Joseph M. Sika. And also, it is a different format. But one thing that we did note, well, one thing I have noted, is that when we ended that segment a long time ago, actually, I'll tell y'all something, because this is a bit of a journey to look back at, as far as when was the last time we ever ran one of those summaries. And let me go back and find it. To videos, made all kinds of litany of videos in between that one. And the final Ukraine war summary, which was this one. Oh my god, that's crazy, really. Looking back at this, it actually makes me laugh a little bit. This is how long the war's been going on. Remember, Matthew, back in the day, I was saying, man, I can't keep up all this stuff. I'm going to have to drop some stuff to make sure we can keep the stream running. The last Ukraine war summary that was ever made was made on the 158th day.
Oh.
That was a long time ago. And if we do the math, let me do the math real quick, because I want to know how many days it was before we restarted that. So we restarted them on 435. So 435 minus 158. It had been 277 days since the last time we put up a short war summary, and this was the last one we ever ran. Let me make sure that it's not showing anything sensitive, because I'll show y'all something here that was really interesting about this one. So here we go. This will show y'all something interesting about short war summaries. So this is actually the analytics behind the scenes of the final short war summary, and you can see that this was not well received at all, because these war summaries on average would get us about 100 to 200 subscribers a day. This one ended up losing about 61 subscribers on a good day. And it was not received well, because a lot of people didn't like that we were ending the war summaries, and it also got 54.3 thousand views, which is about as good as our streams do these days. And this was the last one. This was actually one of the poorer performing ones of the series as well, and it got 54.3 thousand views.
You earned a whopping $2 from those.
Yeah, because someone actually threw in like a $5 chat or something like that, and YouTube took like 50% of it in reality.
Dang. So we lost 61 subs on this one?
Yeah, I was just talking about that. Yeah, it was not received well when I said we were ending these. I mean, I don't remember how you didn't remember me talking about that on the day of, because we lost all those subs on the day it was uploaded. Like, just a lot of people said, whatever, and ran.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so, and also this was the longest short war summary as well. It wasn't even a short war summary. It was 10 minutes long. But, you know, that was the end of the series, and it was... Yeah, I mean, like, it was something else. You know, it's just to kind of give you all a look, though, at the view count as far as the views went. And let me back this over here real quick and move on to another area. I'm always moving it over because I only want to show still screens just in case we're showing some security stuff. But yeah, here, this isn't showing anything security-wise. So let me scroll this back over. And so here were all of the short war summaries right here from the last one up here all the way down. You can see that they were doing fairly good. You know, they were getting like 50,000 views, 40,000 views. Some of them were getting 250,000 views or close to 100,000 views. And I really don't understand, looking back, why in the world I ended this series, because it seems that so many of y'all were enjoying it. I think it was honestly because I was so tired at that point. It didn't really matter. I just wanted to end the thing. But yeah, I mean, like, that's what we were looking at, and now we're looking at, like, I think on the first one it was like 19,000 views, and on this one it'll probably end up being a little bit above 10,000 views. And, you know, we always want to make sure that we're making videos that y'all enjoy enough that y'all actually want to watch them. We don't want to just make something for no reason. And also, another thing I'd like to note is that you can see right here, the monetization is off on all of them. And some of them got age restricted, so we can't run ads on them if we wanted. But yes, we do run everything ad-free. The only ones we didn't run ad-free are the longer form videos, because for some reason the algorithm only likes to promote those if they do have ads on them, so then we run ads on them. But yeah, that's what we were looking at back then, compared to what we're looking at now. And I'm like, man, do people really like these video formats anymore? Is this dated now, almost a whole year later? Who really knows? But with that, I hope that does address that fairly well about those video segments and, what we're looking at behind the scenes. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And real quick, let's see how people like their jokes. 38% like them well done. 27% like them cringe seasoned. 17% said butchered. And 18% said medium rare. I think, honestly, I like my jokes butchered. I'm with the 17%. Oh, it just got tied. Medium rare and butchered. But Enforcer, what about you?
I would have to say I like mine butchered. I would have to say I'm a big fan of cheesy jokes, to be honest. That's kind of what we do, and I enjoy cheesy jokes. I think they're funny because they're so cheesy. So cringe seasoned or butchered, one or the other. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
And the next one goes to Vlad Lozo 111111, who puts in a $5 super chat and says, "Sorry, I can't send more. Bought a few drones for my friends on Front Zero and just wanted to say thanks."
And thank you so much for the support, and thank you for just saying thanks and also supporting the channel as well. It helps this channel to keep on running, and I've got to thank you so much for keeping us in mind and helping us to keep this thing rolling. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a $5 super chat from Merdjava Ruka, who says, "Did you hear about the Z supporter Gonzalo Lira getting arrested by the Ukrainian Special Forces today?"
I did hear about that. I saw that. That was actually kind of funny because he was on the air saying that the Ukrainians are literally Nazis and things like that. And then the SBU showed up to his door a few hours later and arrested him. So I was like, huh, I was like, that's pretty wild. So yes, I did see that. And so with that, I hope that does answer that fairly well. Thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and the next one goes to CK Bold, who puts in a $5 super chat and says, "Oh, the Russian Rodney gets no respect. No respect. I'll take a live chat question."
Oh, блядь, I get no respect around here. Oh, man. I went to the magazine the other day, блядь, and I was told, hey, we don't serve dogs in here, блядь. We only serve Russian men. And I said, hey, I'm a Russian man. Oh, man, I'm telling you, I get no respect around here, блядь.
So I hope you enjoyed Russian Rodney there. We call him Vadim around here. But still, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And did he want a live chat?
He did.
And let's get it.
And the live chat question goes to Psyops, who says, "Any news about the white phosphorus and incendiary rockets being used in Bakhmut?"
No, not really any news, but we do get picture evidence and video evidence of it. And it does appear that it was a very large blanketing of, I guess you could say, the city that's controlled by the Ukrainians right now. That's really all we know. So with that, I hope that does answer that fairly well. And also, I saw Stephen Fisher say Laser Pig destroyed the guy and his roundtable with Armchair Warlord and History Legends. I've heard that there's a lot of drama going on right now with Laser Pig over something. Laser Pig is a very strongly opinionated YouTuber. But I have to say, honestly, he does very good research on what he says. And so usually the very strong opinion he has is usually founded, because I can't really disagree with any of his standpoints. Like when he said the T-14 is garbage, from what we can tell, it is garbage. It's not really a question of is it garbage. It is, from everything we know. That's why it's never actually been introduced into Russian Army service, and that's why they haven't really produced a lot of them either. Kind of like the Su-57, which is also trash. But to be honest with you, that's I would have to certainly, I don't know a lot about that drama, but I would actually have to say, from what I know, Laserpig does know what he's talking about. So with that, I hope that does address that further. I saw that in the live chat. I've been hearing a little bit about that, a little bit of the tremors and echoes of it, and of course I don't know everything about it, but hell, who in the world can disagree with a guy who makes like 1.5 hour long documentaries about what he's talking about? And they're very, very well researched with Department of Defense information, Ministry of Defense information. I mean, hell, he almost goes all the way to almost getting the classified information itself to show in the video. So, you know, he does his research for sure. So with that, hope that addressed that fairly well. We're on to the next one.
All right, and we're going to call him Jack the Dripper. But anyways, up next, we have a $5 super chat from Robert Dursing. Once again, he says, Navalny set free immediately. Russia, old ex-KGB Putin concept.
Wait, did they release Navalny?
I don't think so. I think he meant something different.
Oh. Well, I do thank you for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And I would say that Navalny should be released, but the Russians are too scared of an actual political opponent to let the guy free. And so with that, thank you so much once again for support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And we are on to the next one.
And the next one goes to Robin M., who puts in a $5 super chat and says, LSA, woof, 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 howl, and happy birthday.
And I thank you for the support. It appears that we have an absolute animal in the chat, but still, thank you so much once again for helping this channel to keep on running. And thank you once again for the support. Now, did he want a live chat?
No live chat on that one.
All right, and so with that, we are on to the next one. But thank you so much once again for the support.
All right, and up next, we have a $5 super chat from Cliff H., who says, question, what is Enforcer Matt's favorite type of algebra problem?
What is it, Matthew?
Polynomial expressions. Bada boom.
It's hilarious. I don't actually get it. I gotta be honest. I'm not getting that one, sadly.
You know, that's why you're not good at math.
Oh man, you're gonna roast me like that on air? You're gonna?
It's a polynomial expression.
Okay, what about it?
It's math.
Yeah, I know, but oh man,
pole.
But you didn't say it like that. You said polynomial expression. How in the world am I supposed to get pole out of that?
Polynomial.
You didn't say it like that, man. You said polynomial. You said it like that, man.
Look, everybody's roasting.
Oh man. Oh man. I'm having to watch the live chat here. I'm having to see what's coming in on this one, and the polls are coming in, and Eric Shaw said, now the blaster seems more sane. Oh, damn. But still, thank you for the support. Thank you for a good joke. It went right over my head at the start. But thank you so much once again for helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
All right. And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Randy Tosto, who says, my first day, 262, still my favorite day. And what's yours?
My favorite day would be day 4. You know, and I'm not really talking about my favorite day as far as what has happened in the war. I'm talking about my favorite day ever running the stream. And day 4 was my favorite day because I was just doing my thing. Actually, you know what? Since I have this open over here, I'll just show y'all that moment live because it's a really cool moment for me to relive. You know, it's like I peaked on day 4. I'm just kidding. I didn't peak on day 4, but it was certainly a crazy day that I'll never forget. So let me go all the way back to the beginning. Let me scroll all the way through all of these streams. You know what? Should I actually try singing that song when we get all the way back to the beginning?
Oh dear.
Anyway, so we're almost there. All right, so now let me go slowly forward. Let me try and find it. All right, so here it is, day 4. Found it. View on YouTube. And y'all ought to be ready to hear a whole new me. All right. So this is the stream.
You got that Bing Shaling mic coming up.
Yeah. So back in the day, we actually didn't have the 10-minute countdown, so this card would just sit up there for 10 minutes. I don't know how people bared that. And also, I didn't have a co-host at this point either, so I'll show y'all how I used to address stuff in the live chat back before the thing blew up. Russia. And then the United States starts picking all this stuff up. And so they're going to be like, well, I'm not going to say that. That kind of sounds like dumb. But they would be thinking
Skip
of
for a
those
little
of y'all
bit.
who don't.
And this is how I would get the live chat up. So, you know, I just literally got the live chat window, and I would pull it up on screen, and I'd address anyone in the live chat. Because there weren't that many live chats back in the day. I'd only get like, I think 200 or 300 of them a night, and I'd quickly go through them and answer them all. But, you know, now with like 20,000 messages coming in a night, we can't do that anymore. But anyways, I'll skip forward to the part where I actually... Hey, there's that Pavel dude that was in there.
Oh man, let's not even talk about Pavel, man. That was... So... Oh yeah, here we go. This is the part where I saw the chat blowing up. This is the coolest part. South from Mogilev, Belarus towards Ukraine.
It's just an apps. He was in there that early.
Yeah. Man, there were some people around a long time ago back then. They may also be moving them to Gomel. It may just be a repositioning. But I'm not gonna discredit that. That may be what's happening. This is backfiring epically on Putin. Yes, it is. And you can also see that back in the day, I want to make a mention of this. You can see that Matthew inherited the banhammer from me, because look how many people got the banhammer from me back then, like loads of them. Firing terribly. Putin is installing the Dominion computerized voting system in Ukraine. I don't know what that is. Is this feed live? Yes, I'm reading all the comments live. Yeah, it's live. Yes, they did, but they weren't Nazis. They just viewed Stalin as a greater evil in terms of Ukraine.
1 second,
Stalin took the crops of
let me
Ukrainians and
speed this
starved
thing up to
millions
twice
of them.
speed.
That's exactly what I said earlier. Thank you, Keith. Cyber attack by risky bots. Yes, and I'm clearing them out, and they don't come back after you clear them out, so they just pop up and they're new, and I get rid of them.
Man, you sound like Ben Shapiro.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Because I'm not trying to like crush people's speech. They went protesting in Russia back then. If these talks don't work, boss, I got intel. You need some, just not leaking it here. Sure, dude. If you want to join the Discord, there's a link below in the description.
It literally does sound like Ben Shapiro. It sounds just like him.
Yeah, it does. It's crazy. Stream. I won't, but I will take a listen to it. Freedom and democracy will prevail. Yes, it will. Nazi Putin. I don't know what that means. I believe you're calling Putin a Nazi, so we'll keep that there. Chill with the spam. Oh wow, there's a whole bunch more talk. Oh god, wow, there's so much. Oh wow, there's a lot. Oh my god, how am I supposed to respond to all this? How many people are watching the stream? Jesus. Let's say now here's the part where I realized that I have blown up and gone from like 100 viewers to 4,000. Oh my god. How am I supposed to respond to all you people? There's 3,200 of y'all on here right now. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Get a co-host.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I need mod assistance now because this is.
Oh, what?
This
You
is
answered the
wild.
question.
Jesus, welcome everyone to the stream. Oh my god, I cannot believe this, y'all. I mean, like, this is blown up. I've been getting a couple of hundred views for days. Holy shit.
Damn.
Oh my god. I don't even know.
I
what to
lost
do.
it at
The
this
stream was
point.
supposed to end by now, but there's 3,000 of y'all watching. Where's my guy who wanted to be the mod? There you are. I'm gonna make you a mod right
Oh,
now.
not that guy.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Oh, that was a
That was a
mistake.
bad day.
Please delete the Russian bots. Oh my
Man, I went through and started deputizing people back then. I didn't even care who they were. They just got deputized. But also, by the way, y'all may also notice that my profile picture was way different back then. We actually changed the profile picture to the real Enforcer Man at around 15,000 subscribers, which was like 10 days after this. Do you research before? Oh look, Fernando Espinosa's in there. That's what Hey.
about.
Hey.
So yeah, I mean, like, this is the map. By the way, everyone, since there's 3,000 of y'all watching, which is a small village, I want y'all to know that all of this has been collected live. This is all color coded, by the way.
You know, I gotta say, we've come a long way, like both of us, like in the delivery of the news.
Oh man, we have. We really have. Like, what's crazy to me is that we've really refined this over 436 days, especially the way we talk and things like that. And at this point in this stream, I was completely blown away to the point I really didn't know where to go or what to say anymore on stream. So I was just trying to come up with stuff to say. That's why it only lasted about 6 more minutes, because I was completely thrown off by the massive influx of people. And what's hilarious is that there were 3,000 people watching back then, and that blew me away. And right now we have 3,000 people here on stream 2 hours and 40 minutes in. That's probably the wildest part about this, is that it just blew up from there. And what we consider nowadays to just be average, back in the day, even getting to that was unbelievable. It's really crazy to look back at, but yeah. And then there's BC. I don't know if that's BC Skyman, he evolved from this account, But there's Cal Skills. Let's see who else was in the live chat that we know right now. Let's see here. A very handsome Chilean. Kin Train Professor. Let's see. Timothy Brunel. He's been around a little bit. Gwen Marie. Let's see here. Trying to look for others. Let's see here. Let's see here. That was one of the people who was involved in the Great Schism, by the way, if y'all didn't know why I was going. Fernando Espinoza again. Xavier Molina. Cal Skills again. IC2 Dealer. Let's see here. Who else? Let's see. Actually, a lot.
There's a lot of bots in here.
Yeah. But man, and let's see. Let's go down to the comments. What's in the comments? And then there's people down here who were like, "Hey, wow, you blew up. First time subscriber. I love what you do. Subscribe immediately." Man, if only we got messages like that now. We don't get a lot of I subscribe messages. We get like maybe 70 subscribers a day. But anyways, with that was my favorite day ever, because it was amazingly cool to see that people cared what I had to say about the war, and that's where the whole thing started and went from there. It was on that very moment on day 4, about 2 hours and 3 minutes in. And so with that, I hope that does. Oh, we got lag. Look at that.
Oh, we're back.
And we're back. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. Thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a $5 super chat from Trister1 once again. He says, imagine the sound bites of President Andrew saying, "Smell my fingers," over and over again.
Well, thank you for the support. Thank you for reminding me of how this is going to come back and torture me in 20 or so years, because I'm sure it will. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope we addressed that fairly well. And yes, I think they'll probably have a soundbite of everything I've said on stream. Hell, this will be a treasure trove. They'll be combing through this thing trying to find anything they can. Probably in the future they'll be going, "He made fun of stammers," or something like that. But with that, we're on to the next one. By the way, I'm just kidding about that. But with that, we're on to the next one. Thank you once again for the support.
All right, and up next, we have a super chat from Dark Warrior 137, who says, I'm working with an artist friend of mine on a badge for the LSA, and I'll send it to Discord once it's finished. In the meantime, I will be making flags.
And thank you so much for the support, Dark Warrior 137. I wish you the best of luck on flag designs. We're still trying to come up with one that will hopefully make the entirety of the Leaf Spring Army happy. I know that that's going to be impossible, really. We can only make the majority of the Leaf Spring Army happy, but hopefully we will be able to make a great flag. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope we addressed that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Dev. I really do enjoy the off-the-cuff commentary I've been watching from the get-go, and keep up the good work.
And thank you so much once again for the support. Why in the world would someone put that in the live chat? Why? I just saw that. It's like, why? Why in the world would you do that? But anyways, I do thank you for the support, and I thank you for enjoying the stream. Because, you know, like looking back at day 4, it's amazing to think that we've been here for 436 days. And I think I remember way back then that I said something along the lines of, you know, once I do this enough, I'm sure I'll probably take it for granted. And sometimes to be honest, it just kind of is what it is. I just do this show and I don't really think much about it anymore. But looking back on day 4 and remembering how I felt knowing that there was 3.1 thousand people watching, it's crazy to think how far we've come and how many people enjoy this news every night and how many people have become a huge member of the LSA. I mean, the LSA is a community that is recognized around the entire Ukraine war world on YouTube. Either people love it or they hate it, but nonetheless, it is recognized as a thing. And it's unbelievable to think that we've come all this way with folks like you here almost every single step of it. And so thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again for the support.
Yes, indeed. And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Joseph M. Sika once again. He says, and I know I've been quiet or missed a few streams, but I always watch your streams the next day. My German Shepherd's name was Sheba, 1986 to 1996. Rest in peace.
Oh, well, I thank you for the support. It's actually pretty crazy to hear that your Sheba is very similarly named to our Sheba. And I've got to thank you so much once again for supporting this channel and helping us keep it running, and also sharing that cool little fact about us. That's a crazy coincidence. We actually saw some beautiful German Shepherds in the back of someone's car yesterday. They were all black. They were solid black German Shepherds, but they were beautiful, actually. Really cool looking, too. And so with that, thank you once again. I hope that does address that fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
And the next one goes to Dupper Bob, who puts in a $2 super chat along with Robert Dursing once again. And they both say, Slava Ukraine.
And Slava Ukraini. And thank you to both of y'all for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And our next one goes to Stefan Fisher, who puts in a $2 super chat and says, don't worry, I just didn't get it. I'll sleep fine.
Well, I thank you for the support. And I hope you do sleep well. You better sleep softly. You better sleep light. Keep sleep with one eye open. I'm just kidding with you, but still, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and with that being said, we are all out of super chat questions. So once again, thank you all very much for the support. And we're moving on to our first live chat question, which actually is the Morse code decoders of the stream. We have JP's Gone Fishing, Rumpelstiltskin, C. Fay, Mark Hodges, Cliff Simonson, Dark Warrior 137, Paul Schultz, Earl Bernew, and Slava something. And they said the Morse says, Wagner out here quitting like a kid on the playground that isn't winning. Slava Ukraine.
That's the sound of money. And I've got to, oh, I don't know why I said that so matter-of-factly tonight. I said, that's the sound of money. But still.
You talk to us like we're third graders or something.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Why in the world did it sound like he was getting murdered right there? Oh, man, I'm telling you. You're sticking the knife in me. But anyways, thank you all for deciphering the Morse code message. That is the correct one. And I would have to tell you, yes, that is correct message, and also a correct message, if you know what I mean, if you catch my drift. Because they do quit like they're kids on the playground that aren't winning anymore, and I think that's hilarious, really. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And we are moving on to the next one. And also, another thing I was just thinking, Matthew, that I thought we would bring up, because some people have been saying that we've been making the stream shorter, and when you really think about it, we haven't. We're just trying to bring them back down to the traditional length, because back in the day, and I'll show you all this, once again, for context, because, you know, it's here, it's there. And also, just in case if any of y'all have ever wondered, do they run ads? Because they say they don't, but do they really? No, we don't, because you can actually see the monetization is off on all of them. And then some of them are ineligible either for copyright reasons or something else. But if I flip forward, you can see all of our streams, and you can see that back in the day, they actually ran not that long. They were within the 2-hour range, either just getting right over 2 hours long, or getting to around 2 hours and 40 minutes long at the longest. But none of them really got over 3 hours. That happened a little bit later on in the war. I'll see when that happens. That's like, wait, hang on, let me make sure. That is actually the first stream right there. This one was on day 56 that passed 3 hours. And then they went back down. This one was actually 4 hours long. I think that was our first marathon as well. But most of them were shorter than 3 hours, or somewhere in between 2 to 3 hours long. So we're trying to get them back to their normal length. But with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And we're on to the next one.
And also, real quick, before I move on to our next live chat question, I just want to say that the anonymous viewer that sent me that John Deere Bobcat the other day that I added to my collection of other Bobcat models was Bobby Carolfa, and I wanted to give him a shout out because he told me the other day that he was the anonymous viewer. So once again, thank you very much, Bobby, for sending me that very cool Bobcat. It goes along with my actual Bobcat because I guess you really can't call a John Deere Bobcat. Because that's kind of like an antithesis because that's the brand name. But thank you very much. And we're moving on to our next live chat question, which goes to G-Man is watching. He says, could the Russians just be stockpiling ammunition pending the Ukrainians' counteroffensive instead of giving Wagner redefining a Russian win?
And maybe they could probably be doing that, but really, in honesty, the fact is they don't have ammo, and we've known that for a good while. And so the Wagner was the first one to be knocked off the list because they're not officially a part of the Russian army, so they're at like the bottom of the tier for concerns about who gets ammo. That may be the case, but honestly, I don't even think they're really stockpiling ammo. It's just that they don't have enough to really spread around to everyone, including the Wagner. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And the next one goes to Richard Parnell, who says, I know we have debated stopping hypersonic missiles before, but I'm wondering if the USA ended their project because they figured out a countermeasure.
Maybe. That may be the case. But at the same time, who really knows? Because apparently the news about them shooting down the Kinzhal was incorrect. We pulled a gaffe there on that one, but maybe that may be the case. Who really knows? Because a lot of the U.S. development programs are usually classified. And so with that, I hope that does answer that fairly well, and we are on to the next one.
And the next one goes to JJ, who says, regarding the weather over there, do you think the time is right for the counteroffensive, or do they need more time for the ground to harden?
I think they may need more time for the ground to harden because an offensive can't begin in weather conditions or ground conditions like those. They're just too rough for an offensive to successfully move forward. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. I think we might actually want to push back their attack window into midsummer, and while it will be the warmest part of the year, it'll probably be the most successful time of the year to launch an offensive. But with that, we are on to the next one.
And our next one goes to Frequency Harmonic, who says the weakened Wagner Brigade near Bakhmut is probably a myth. It's to lure the Ukrainians to attack where Russia has an estimated 130,000 troops in Zaporizhia. And what are your thoughts?
I don't actually think that's the case. I think that is part of Russian political dealings, and it's just something that Prigozhin doesn't really care about airing out to the wide world. But I think that the Ukrainians are not going to be conducting an offensive because it would be too quick of a window for them to move everyone up there, move the supplies up there, get it ready, and then push them in. I think that would be a little bit too optimistic for them. So they'll probably just let that happen, let that front line collapse. And then they'll conduct their offensive elsewhere for the most part. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, at least in my opinion. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Super Creech. And thank you very much for the support, Super Creech. He says, match new leaf spring on a car, and great work, men, and congratulations on college, and answer a chat question, please. And thank you very much, Super Creech.
And thank you, Super Creech, for the compliments on graduating college. It was a big deal. It really was. And we will make sure to answer a chat question. But thank you so much once again for enjoying the work we do and supporting us to help us to keep on doing it. And with that, let's get to the live chat.
And the live chat question goes to Terry Davis, who says, do you think Prigozhin is making these videos in order to ask the West for asylum?
I think he's making these videos to put public pressure on the Russian government to actually give him what he wants. I think that's more so why he's making the videos, but they may also have the unintended purpose of giving the West an idea that he may need to have an out sometime soon, and that out may be the West. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one. Also, I saw Beep Sneeze Finding Food and Treasure talking about, I haven't got my password straightened out yet on Discord. I will say this because I have seen some people tonight asking about us restarting a Discord. We will probably never do Discord again because Discord was hell on earth for us to manage because we can't run it, so we have to get mods to run it, and then the mods get power tripping complexes. Oh, not all of them, because Mace is an OG, and he's actually here tonight. He was one of the mods on the last server, but some of them, just enough of them, get a power tripping complex where they eventually want to pull off a schism or try and steal the fire from our flame or the flame from our fire. You know, that's something that I'm not into. And on top of that, they start lying about crap. Like one thing that I saw that for some reason every goofy moderator ever does is they always talk about our dashboard figure on income, and dashboard doesn't sit there and dissociate fundraisers. Playboard, whatever it is. But Playboard doesn't categorize fundraisers or super chats. It just recognizes any monetary amount that comes through the live chat. So it just adds in our donations on fundraisers that show up in the live chat to our income. So our income is like way through the roof because they're adding in the fundraisers. Honestly, though, when you look at that, that's really an honor that it gets that high because of how well we run fundraisers. Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be on charts anywhere. But yeah, that's one thing that annoyed the hell out of me. And I remember one of them showing it to me. He said, "Oh, look at that, boss!" And I was like, "Where in the hell is that number coming from?" And then finally, when you go on Playboard, it actually says in an asterisk somewhere at the top, it just counts anything that comes in a live chat. So it doesn't really matter if it's actual income for the channel or it's a fundraiser. It just gets counted. And I'm like, that is a really stupid thing to not try and categorize. But, you know, anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a $2 super chat from Dark Warrior 137 once again, and thank you very much for the continuous support. He says, I sent the badges to Matt's Discord and send it to Matt.
And let's see him, Matthew. Let's see him.
Let's see here. It might be better to look at them after the stream because I have to find a way to get them over to your. Hey, wait a minute. That's the. It's like an improved version of the thing that we used to have on the old server. Let me try to see if I can get one of them. Let's see here. Okay, I think I can copy it. Copy it and paste it. Oh, it worked. So yeah, it's in your Discord DM.
Oh, that's actually really cool. I like that one.
the badger got a little active.
Man, that badger be packing the heat. But I like that. That's a really good one. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us. And also thank you once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a question from the live chat once again from Christian Cruz, who says, should Ukraine take Mariupol in the counteroffensive to expose the mass graves and exposing the Russians' war crimes?
They could try, but they'll most likely be heading towards Melitopol, if anything. So Mariupol would be a little bit out of the way, but they could always try if things are really that bad for the Russians. And so with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And we are on to the third to last question of the night.
All right, and this one goes to Guy L., who says, do we think that the TV propagandist Solyov and that woman will or should be arrested and charged with fraud and deception?
I think they should be, but it would be really hard to do that since they're inside of Russia, and the Russians wouldn't really want to do that to them. If they went into the West, though, I think we should. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, and we are on to the second to last question of the night.
And this one goes to Anthony Riley, who says, where does Wagner get their money from?
Wagner gets their money from contracts, from what we understand, although we don't really know where they get their money from, but we think it's contracts. So with that, I hope we answer that, at least according to my knowledge, fairly well. And with that, we are on to the final question of the night. And so, who was the lucky last person who threw in the lucky last question of the night?
And that viewer is CME4PC, who says, how many Soviet-era nuke shelters do you think there are in the Donbass?
Probably a good amount, actually, because the Russians built a large amount of bunkers everywhere during the Cold War. Not a lot of them, not like the Swiss did, but it was still a very large amount compared to what the United States did. So there is probably a decent amount of them across the Donbass, and most likely in the populated areas like Donetsk and Luhansk. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, and it is the end of tonight's stream. Of course, I thank you all so much once again for watching. If y'all did enjoy, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because of course that helps this channel to keep on running, and we are up to 1,922 likes, quite a significant amount of likes. So with that, I will see you all tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to cover the next 24 hours of the news of the war in Ukraine. Good night, good luck, take care, stay safe, and of course, Slava Ukraini!
And good night, Slav Ukraine, and please go peep the Twitter. Bled.
Yes. The Leaf Spring Army sends its regards.
Усміхнеться доля, згинуть наші вороженьки, як роса на сонці, запануємо ми, браття, у своїй сторонці. Душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького